Hi, folks. Watson Prunier here from Battle for Freedom. It's February, and you know what that means. Black History Month. You know what? I'm on a challenge, and I need your help. I refuse to talk about anything black or anything that has to do with racism this whole month. Yep, I'm aiming to do the impossible, but I think I can. Float me some topics that you would like me to cover over the next month that has nothing to do with the issues of racism. Listen, I broadcast Mondays and Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on MoJo 50 Radio, and so you can hold me accountable by listening to my show then. Can you please help a brother out? You see what I did there? Okay, no, in all seriousness, I promise that was the last one. Hit me up on Twitter @_Battle for Freedom, and I'll do my best to cover your topics. Take care, and God bless.
The three, which is a threesome.
Yes.
But a four, I guess foursome. And then fivesome. And then gangbang.
You're in no man's land.
Yeah.
No, you're in a lot of men's land. A lot of men's.
Brandon Morse, today at 1. MoJo 50.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Adjust your mojo now. Thank you. Ship has landed. Doc Thompson. Brad Staggs. The mighty MoJo 50.
We need a lot more shut the F up in the world. Shut the F up. You ain't all that.
Yeah.
A whole lot more of that. The world would be well served if there was more shut the F up. There's nothing to see here. Remember, you ain't all that. You're not all that.
Yeah, but Facebook and Twitter.
It's maddening.
It's the weekend's almost.
I was ready to come on. No, it's not. It's only Tuesday. I was ready to come on the air today, make with the yuckity yucks. Damn it if I didn't get triggered this morning just 30 minutes ago. I see this story that has gone viral, and the media loves to pick up these stories. They love to roll around in the big, steaming, brown pile of crap. They love it. And the people love it, too. It's the reason Jerry Springer was so popular and Maury Povich and everything else. You want to know why? Because it makes us feel better about ourselves. No matter how bad it is, and no matter how bad I am, at least I'm not that. You've got people living off the public teat with 16 kids running around that are not teaching their kids anything proper. They're not living a good life. They're doing nothing right in their life, but they watch Maury Povich and they're like, look at her. At least I ain't that.
Thank God for the idiots. They make the rest of us look like geniuses.
But some of these people are also idiots.
Yes. Those are the idiots that make us look like
It's
geniuses.
all about me. That's the problem. It's all about me. Instead of people saying, maybe I'll just shut the F up because I am also somebody who has some issues, or I also, nope. It's just, look at that person. We are just so in love with playing the victim on one hand, and at the same time, taking the moral high ground.
Of course. Say that like
Look at what that person did to me. I never would have done that. I'm a victim because they treated me this, and I would never do that. From the Brett Kavanaugh hearings to crap on social media, it's never ending with the, well, at least I didn't when you did this to me.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to 2019.
This is the heart of the matter. This is the problem right here. On Facebook this morning, I saw a story that went viral. The media was reporting on it. It was posted all over the place, and it goes back to a simple post on Facebook of a woman who, I think it's her Facebook page too. It's called Momstrosity, and it's her and another woman who want to be sister wives. Not the sex stuff, as it says on the top. What does that mean?
They want to be sister wives. They want to be living together, but not the sex part.
What's it say?
They don't want to do sex.
Wait, what's the top? It doesn't just say sister. It says neighbors, friends.
Yeah, neighbors, friends.
Want to be sister wives.
Mm-hmm. Without the sex stuff. Stephanie and Eliza.
So you're just friends. So you're friends.
But they're like, yeah, but they want to be.
BFF just doesn't do it for me.
Right.
BFF does not show my level of commitment to our friendship.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it.
Okay, you've got some damn issues right there then. You're friends. That's it. Good friends, I'll give you that. I even will accept BFFs. Best friends forever.
Mm-hmm.
How much more? Why do you need another level of designation?
You know,
that level of friendship just isn't enough. To be best friends forever isn't enough.
Wow. It's about love.
God, how empty is your damn life if you have to have that?
They just want love.
They've got it. They found each other. Great. You're friends. No. We need sister wives.
There's nothing wrong with a little more love.
But not the sex. We're SW sister wives. What about next week? No. We'll be SWF sister wives forever.
Would a little more love make you stop pretending?
Jeez. Anyway, she runs this stupid Facebook page. She posted a story about flying with one of her children cross country.
Uh-huh.
It's happened 1 billion times. The kid was fussy and screaming, whatever.
Yeah.
And a gentleman on the plane was upset. Now, he didn't say anything to her. He didn't make any rude comments. But she knew he was being rude because he kept glaring over his shoulder and making type sounds.
I swear it wasn't me. I was not on the airplane.
And she felt the need to post an open letter to him. I'm going to share some of that with you. And as I share these pieces, ask yourself if she wouldn't be better served by shut the F up, you ain't all that.
Wow. She just wanted to spread a message of hope and love.
Before I get to the letter, let me say, yes, children freak out on planes quite often. It's the air pressure, the pressurized cabin hurts their ears. They're bored. They're cranky. It disrupts their schedule for whatever reason. It does happen.
You just described me on an airplane.
On an airplane. Exactly. They fly Spirit. You know. It happens. We get it. And there's no silver bullet magic solution around this other than kids don't fly, and even that you have to fly at times. So, okay, kids scream. The parents are frustrated. They don't want the kids to scream. The other passengers are frustrated. Even if I have kids, and when I'm on a plane, I'm like, damn it, I know people. I'm trying here, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And when they're not with me and kids are screaming, I'm still like, oh, this sucks. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm understanding, try to be that it's frustrating for me that kids are screaming, but it just happens.
Need a good stiff drink.
Now, quick addendum here. They're not talking about the parents who allow their children to run up and down the aisle, who are truly not trying to control them. I'm talking most kind of cases where the kids are just screaming and stuff and the parents trying their best. We all should get that. Mm-hmm. It's a very simple thing. You don't need an open letter. Sometimes you're going to get somebody who doesn't understand it. They're going to be an ass on the plane.
Yes.
Sometimes you get a parent who's not truly trying to control their kids. These are not the norms. These are the exceptions, right?
Generally speaking, yes.
Why can't society just get beyond and in those moments where people are truly being jackasses, you just move on.
Yeah.
They're the rarity. They're the exception. No. She had to post a letter. And in this letter, she played the victim and treated him like a jackass while calling him out for being a jackass. And that, to me, just says, you ain't all that. Maybe you should also shut the F up. He should have shut the F up. You should shut the F up. And both of you realize you ain't all that. To the gentleman on flight 1451. I first noticed you when you sighed loudly as you laid eyes on me and my toddler boarding the plane. In a momentary lapse of judgment, we sat behind you. It was the nearest set of seats. I couldn't wait to put my child and our heavy bags down. From the overdramatic huffs and puffs you let out as we buckled in, it was clear that you were annoyed by our very presence.
So at least she knew.
At this point, my little girl was laughing and playing, obviously too loud for your liking. I wondered if you had a bad day or if this grouchy temperament was your normal behavior. Now remember, she's taking the moral high ground here by calling out somebody who was being mean, not understanding, and impatient. And while she's taking that moral high ground, she's being mean, annoying, and impatient.
Well, there's that, yes.
I wondered if your wife was embarrassed as she quietly nodded at your frustrations. I wondered if you had children of your own. I wondered a lot about you. Did you wonder about us?
Did she really write that?
Yes.
Did you wonder about us?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of weird.
And by the way, do you jackholes know she's not hot? I know what's coming. Because you would have been wondering about her too, I know. Did you wonder about this mom and little girl who were flying alone? We were so excited to go on an adventure, but I was also very nervous. This was the first time that I'd ever flown with a child, and I was making half of the trip without my husband. For weeks, I researched tips for flying with children. I packed toys and games and books and downloaded movies. I dosed up my child with Benadryl, but it didn't work. She only slept 20 minutes on a cross-country flight. I did everything in my power to keep her calm and quiet. I shushed her. I made sure her little feet didn't kick the back of your seat. As we took off, her tears started. The kicking and the screaming tantrums came on fast. She'd been up since early morning. She hadn't had a nap. She hadn't eaten much. She was recovering from the tail end of a sinus infection. And I wondered if the pressure from the altitude hurt her ears. She was exhausted and fussy. You didn't let up with your mutters of annoyance and looks over your shoulder. I apologized to everyone around me. I almost started to cry myself. I was feeling shame and guilt for not being able to control my child. I was at the end of my rope. But then an angel to our rescue. The flight attendant came by and gave my daughter a cup and a straw to play with. Just like that, the scream stopped, and my baby was suddenly content. The kind attendant told us, "It's okay. Flying is tough on everyone, and you're both doing great." Somehow, her kindness calmed my baby. Somehow, her simple words made me feel better. She was right. We were doing great. We were doing our best, and that's as great as it gets. I'm almost finished. I'm about 60, 70% through the letter. Let me pause here and say, when I read stuff like that, I can sum it up by saying, to quote my wife when I ask her about some women that she recently, or like a new friend or a coworker she meets, and I say, "Really, what's she like?" And she goes, "She's the type of woman you wouldn't like." Her letter goes on to say, "The problem wasn't with us. It was with you. What you need to know is that while children can be terribly inconvenient now, they will run the world when you are old and gray. Kids can be annoying and downright obnoxious, but they're also innovative and brilliant. These kids might one day discover the cure for the type of cancer that runs in your family. They can be selfish and loud, but they can also be precious and loving. They might grow up to build a system and make laws that benefit us all. They may grow up to serve others in a way that makes us wish we could go back in time and do it all over. They are the future. They are gifts to their family, to their community, and to the world. We will need them one day, and they need us now. They need a kind word. They need the novelty of a plastic cup and conversation with a new friend. They need someone to look square in their mama's nervous eyes and tell them that they're doing great and that everything is going to be okay. If you can't muster up a smile and a hello, then simple silence will do just fine. I get it. Kids can be a nuisance. But next time you are forced to be near one, I hope that you will be more like the flight attendant. I hope that instead of frustration and annoyance, you will feel hope and goodness. This world certainly has enough negativity without us adding to it, and just maybe the kindness you give out today will be returned in your future.
It's very sweet. Is that the end?
Yeah, that's it.
Did she tell the kid that the cup was going to end up in a landfill and the straw was going to end up killing a turtle?
It's stuck.
The
kindness of not using a plastic straw will save turtles of the future. Now, here's the thing, and I was so triggered, I actually responded on Facebook. I actually wrote a couple of sentences. At best, this story is one-sided. And at worst, she's being exactly what she's accusing him of.
Yeah.
She's being negative.
Mm-hmm.
She's being impatient. Mm-hmm. She's being mean to him.
Uh-huh.
She asks about his wife being embarrassed. Why would you write that? Because you're trying to say your wife was embarrassed to belittle you. Because guys, some of them, I guess, apparently care what their wives think of them. I know.
What?
I know. We're kind of the exception there. But as that, are you normally grumpy and grouchy? All of these things. While on her end, she did everything perfect. She downloaded movies. She read up on it. She dosed her kid up with drugs. She did all of these things. Her little feet, she made sure little feet didn't kick the back of his shoes.
Tiny
or back of his seat. Right. She did all of those things perfect. She was perfect, Brad.
She did it all right.
Right. He was still an ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says the world doesn't need any more negativity from us, yet she wrote this, and it's all very negative.
It does seem to be that way.
She and the world would be better served by shut the F up. You ain't all that. You may have heard that said another way. Take the plank out of your own eye.
Yes.
I'm just kind of moderning it up a little bit for God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take the plank out of your own eye. I will give her the benefit of the doubt and say her story is absolutely accurate. The other side, if he was being honest, absolutely same way. And still, within that, take the plank out of your own eye because you wrote this and you have no idea what he was going through that day. You were a jackass online while playing victim and trying to claim the moral ground when you have no idea what he was going through. Did he bury a child that morning?
See?
A parent? Did he just find out, was he on a trip and just found out that he has cancer?
Mm-hmm.
Or a loved one does? Did he just get fired? All of the above. You have no idea what he was going through that day. But you were still pissed at him because, did he say something to her? No. He simply went, sighs of frustration. Wasn't that better than him going, will you shut that effing kid up? Or confronting her?
Right.
Or being violent? He simply let out sighs of exasperation and frustration and maybe a glaring look or two.
And maybe he wasn't even aiming
Maybe he
in that
wasn't.
direction. Maybe he had headphones in and was watching a movie.
Could have
or
been
was
anything.
listening. Yeah.
But she has no idea what he was going through.
No, he was squirting at the kid.
Now, he probably was just having an average day and was pissed off because the kid was being obnoxious.
Right.
But still, she was an ass to him in this letter.
Yeah.
Are you normally grumpy? Is your wife embarrassed by you? And taking the moral ground that maybe you should be kinder when she could have been kinder in this as well.
Welcome to 2019.
She could have simply posted, I'm sorry, I really tried to do everything right. And if your flight was, bad because of this or you had a bad day and I contributed to, I'm sorry. She could have left it at that.
She could have.
She didn't have to explain how she did everything right. That's on her. That's guilt. I need the world to know that I'm not responsible here. I'm not. Shut the F up. There's nothing to see. You ain't all that. There's the message. I'm guilty of it too. Do you know how much I struggle with this? Do you know every day?
As you should.
Why can't we take that moment and go, maybe before we had kids, but my wife and I had my 16-year-old from a previous marriage. Mm-hmm. My wife would get really frustrated, kids screaming. It is like punching me in the back of the eyeballs when I hear, and not just kids scream, but anything. It took me years to realize I have some sort of sound sensitivity in restaurants. If the acoustics are bad, I just am clawing my face off. And
that's called being a man.
I guess that's it. And she would get, not openly, she would just quietly to me go, oh, it's killing me here. And I would say, I know. But you got to understand, kids don't fly well. It's not the parents' fault. It's just one of those things because I've been through it,
Right.
And I do that all the time with this stuff. Still, I fail at times, but this is still the answer. Social media has just become this cesspool of moral high ground when you're still an effing asshole.
Yeah. It's been that way for a
Why?
while.
Because we're all effing assholes.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Just a good time for me to run down my list of your shortcomings. I've been keeping a list now.
You don't have to. It's all on social media. I lead with them every day.
It should only take me a couple hours to read this off.
I don't think you actually need a list. The Jackholes have been carrying on that list for a long. It's an ongoing list, mind you. They keep adding to it every day. Yeah. Imagine if this guy had no idea, and he's like, because I've had that happen. Have you ever had that happen where somebody accused you of something? They're all pissed off. They're angry.
Oh, yes.
And you're
I
like,
hate that.
What? Well, blah. I didn't know. You could have told me that, and that was not my intention, and you misunderstood, or right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens all the time with a lot of people. So
Interstate 90, the East Shoreway, just east of Cleveland, Ohio. It's about 1 a.m. I had just left work. I was working the evening shift, producing commercials and audio for WMJI in Cleveland. This is 15, 20 some years ago. I'm driving home. I'm tired. Just driving along the East Shore. I'm in the slow lane, doing about the speed limit. And a guy comes up to me and looks over and is just ranting. He just MFing me. Obviously, he believed, or I had, in fact, made some traffic infraction that I was unaware of. I had no clue what he was talking about or what I had done. Mm-hmm. And it stuck in my mind because I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I had no idea. Maybe I actually did something. I don't remember it.
Right.
It wasn't intentional. And I think about that in other situations when I'm like, I had no idea, maybe. And I would have apologized had I known. I didn't.
A lot of people are not self-aware like you.
So, dude, it's just, wow. And they're asses for that, and they need to stop because I'm better than them.
See?
And I've been victimized by this letter this morning.
Now you're getting it.
Jeez, that's
now
what I need to do.
you understand.
Dude, she doesn't know, honestly, what type of day. Imagine if he was just diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, for example.
Right.
He's having stomach issues.
Right.
He could have been grunting because I'm trying to keep.
Right. She didn't mention any noxious odors, so.
Well, no, he put a cork in the thing and he was struggling the whole flight to keep it in. It's a cross-cut.
Sure.
An open letter to the woman on flight 1451. I'm sorry if I gave you looks of anger and frustration. I was really just very concerned with trying to keep in the extra gas for my irritable bowel syndrome.
Sitting in a pile of my own feces.
Thank you for being understanding that I was groaning and writhing in my seat because I didn't want to poop my pants.
Right.
And stank up the flight.
It wasn't Al Roker.
Had he simply known about Atrantil or lovemytummy.com, he could be battling not just irritable bowel syndrome, but having better gut health all the way around.
I was listening to Jeremy Hansen last night. And he was talking about...
Are you talking Jeremy Hansen from 5 to 7 Eastern on MoJo 50?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Unleashed with Jeremy Hansen's Unleashed.
That very one. What a coincidence.
Jeremy Hansen, I'm all that, so shut the F up, Unleashed.
You've heard of him.
I have.
He was talking about uncontrolled bouts of diarrhea. And I thought, that just doesn't sound pleasant.
Was he doing a commercial for Atrantil?
I hope so. Because
if you're discussing, start doing one.
Right. If you're discussing uncontrollable bouts of diarrhea and you're not talking about Atrantil, you got issues.
Just reminded me of like 4 things. Seriously, uncontrollable.
Uncontrollable.
That could mean many different things.
Absolutely.
Uncontrollable could be, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to run to a restroom right now. Or uncontrollable could be, hey, thanks for interviewing me for that position of...
Could be.
I guess I'll
either way
not be hearing from you.
Gut health is important.
Do you take this man to be your... That's uncontrollable.
That is uncontrollable.
How'd the wedding go? Well, I shit myself during the service. Sounds rough.
Is that a problem?
No. Try lovemytummy.com. Go to lovemytummy.com. It's for gut health all the way around. It's not just for irritable bowel syndrome, but this could be the beginnings of a medical revolution in the world. I really believe gut health is going to be that. Altrontil, lovemytummy.com/mojo, and you're going to get a great deal. I think it's $20 off 3-month supply. So make sure lovemytummy.com/mojo, MOJO.
And you also get a free foot rub.
I don't think that comes with it.
I think I read that somewhere.
Skip said one time, can't believe this is awesome. This is going to be great. I'm not going to say of who, but he was joking. Not that this person truly has any issues, but I forget why it came up. But he used to reference somebody as having uncontrollable and chronic premature ejaculation.
Chronic?
Chronic. Where you're walking down the street. Damn it.
That's Adam Sandberg.
Now, you've heard those stories about people that climax without anything going on like 72 times a day, and it truly ruins their life. Yeah. So it would be like that. But I remember seeing this video of a guy out there who, even at his father's funeral, and he was a broken man going, I couldn't even mourn my father. Seriously, that's one of those at first you're like, hey, this sounds great. Oh, no, that's bad.
So this is going to be one of those days.
Yeah, it's like that.
What's a MoJo? What's a MoJo? $20, same as downtown. MoJo 50.
I'm Mike Opelka from PureOpelka.com. Here's your 2-minute drill for a State of the Union Tuesday. No, I'm not going to preview what I think the president might say. What purpose would that serve? Instead, I want to do a little math. You see, I've been watching the polls and I've been listening to the progressives. The progressives are out there beating the drum saying, income inequality, it's not fair that all those rich people have all that money. We have to take it away from them. Warren wants a wealth tax. AOC and the other progressive freshmen want 70 to 90% tax on the super wealthy. And here's the reality. The math never adds up. You cannot make poor people rich by making rich people poor. Here's what I'm talking about. Do the math with me. We have about 550 billionaires in America. That's a lot of billionaires, and they have a lot of money. If you put all of their money into one big pile, it's about $2.7 trillion. And if you were to take all that money away, all of it, $2.7 trillion and a massive wealth tax, you would be able to run the American government for about 7 or 8 months. And then what do? Then where do you get your money? The problem with socialism, as Maggie Thatcher taught us, is eventually you run out of other people's money. We don't have a revenue generation problem in this country. We have a spending problem. Cut the spending, save the country, keep the people free. Testudo, my friends. Testudo.
Mike Opelka's 2-minute drill is powered by MoJoWildRice.com. Their wild rice is a superfood, gluten, sodium, fat, and cholesterol-free, yet high in fiber, protein, zinc, phosphorus, and trace minerals. But you're going to love it because it's delicious. MoJoWildRice.com. MoJoWildRice.com.
The Daily Mojo.
My stunt brain all hopped up on the fiscal responsibilities this morning.
You ever had testudo with rice?
I have. I first learned about it.
Amazing.
When, what was that band Ricky Martin was in when he sang all about it? It was fantastic back in the
menudo. That's not testudo, that's menudo.
Isn't it similar?
I think they're grown in different parts of the country.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest difference.
Might be in different countries.
It could be in different countries as well.
Hey, speaking of different countries, Lori D sent us something.
Yes, a little gift.
That has nothing to do with separate countries, but
it's food.
Got it.
It's still food, so it connects. Hey guys, a little gift from Edmund's Bakery. Ken, the owner, is a fantastic guy. For the record, MoJo tastes like diabetes and love.
Oh,
enjoy.
That's good.
Lori D.
What's his name? Ken?
Ken, he's
Kent
the owner.
Dorfman?
Is it Dorfman? What about you, Dorfman?
I think it's Kent Dorfman.
I don't think so.
It's not Kent Dorfman. What's the bakery?
It is the Edmunds Bakery.
Maybe it's Kent Edmunds.
No, I don't think it's not Kent. It's Ken.
Maybe it's
There's
Ken
no T.
Edmonds.
There's no T there.
Okay, maybe it's Ken Edmonds.
Might be Ken Bakery, and he decided to name it Edmonds Bakery.
Maybe.
His last name, maybe his first name.
It may be nothing. Maybe he bought it from Edmund.
It could absolutely be.
Anyway, Ken got in a little bit of hot water for making the build-the-wall cookies.
Yes, he did.
And then Lori D. Where is that? Washington?
Yeah.
Oregon?
It's in
Idaho? Northern California?
Washington.
Nevada?
What is the name
Montana?
of the place?
Wyoming? It's out there west somewhere.
Snoqualmie.
Oh, good.
I don't know. If it's
Well, listen, Ken, call in. We want to say hi-de-ho to you at some point because we're going to talk about how to
Yeah, we
build
have-
the wall cookies.
We have a call into it, by the way.
Oh, good. Lori sent us a series. Now, these are meant to go together, right?
I hope so.
What do they
Otherwise,
say?
One hell of a coincidence.
One cookie says shut, and the next one
Shut
says
your
dirty whore mouth.
Hooray mouth.
Some of them got broken, but it's okay. I'm going to have the whore cookie.
Hooray. Oh, that's whore if you put it together.
Yeah, hooray.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Ken Edmond and Lori
D.
D. Lori D.
Lori D.
What did you get?
I've got the MoJo 50 cookies.
Did
we
she
get a
send your
picture of
mom's
them?
a dirty whore cookie?
No.
She couldn't fit it on
She
the
put all
cookie.
the MoJo cookies in a
Oh,
bag.
just your mom's a whore cookie. That's what I was hoping for.
Well,
I'm not doing a whore, but
if
there's
you
no
hadn't-
reference to my mom
if you
being a
hadn't
whore.
eaten that cookie, we could have probably spelled
I'm going to
something
try
out.
Ken's cookies. You ever tried Ken's
I have
cookies?
not tried Ken's cookies. Are they good?
No, don't try
horrible?
them. Don't eat them. They're
Should
bad.
I,
No, you shouldn't.
Eat the one that says mouth?
Have the intern load those in my car.
That would be, we don't have an intern.
Oh, it's okay. I don't have a car.
That's more of a skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Sister wives are women who marry and share a single husband.
Lesbians.
They're not lesbians. You're not a lesbian. That's from I'm a Mazer, not a Mazer. I don't know what that is.
They like having sex with other women.
No, they don't have sex with other women.
They're called wives. Hello.
They're sister wives to
They're
the
women
husband.
like sisters who are their wives.
The man's wife, not the sister wife. There's a sister. It's like, ooh, that's like, ugh.
Go to Ellen DeGeneres' Facebook page and see how she describes herself.
She doesn't describe herself as a sister wife. She's married to Portia de Rossi.
They're sister wives. Read it.
No, they are not.
Read
They're
what she
not.
writes. Go to her website.
No, I'm not going to her
Okay.
website because I know it doesn't say that because that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
A sister wife is somebody who's married. They're women who are married to the same dude, which means he has to hear twice the blah 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 blah.
You know, they cycle together. And I ain't talking about biking.
Isn't that a myth?
No, that's actually scientific. It's all the pheromones in that.
Uh-huh.
So while you're thinking, this is great. I got 4 of them. We rotate.
Hold on. Thank you.
There's always one that's pleasant and 3 that are unpleasant. Because by the way, that whole 1 month or 1 week out of the month that's unpleasant, no.
So a lot of the time you got, and then you got, I understand.
Most of the time. I'm saying like 1 week out of the month, they might be pleasant. Regardless. Yeah, he gets it all like double, triple barrel 1 week out of the month.
It's
horrible.
How do you know that they are evil and nasty when they are cycling together? How do you know that? I mean, they might be. There's that rare occasion when that doesn't happen.
So your experiences
Possible.
were the exception?
No, I'd like to believe in a better world. Is that so wrong?
Yes, it's not accurate.
Jeez.
And by the way, of course, that's not what sister wives are. I just wanted to trigger you and everybody else. They're not lesbians.
How do you know? They might be.
All right, moving on. Got the State of the Union address tonight. So Jeremy Hansen, not Jerry, Stephen Airy is on at 9. Will he be covering some of this, do you think?
He's actually going to replay it for us, he said.
He's going to what?
He's going to replay the State of the Union.
Oh, okay,
for us.
good.
He'll broadcast it live over the Facebook channels and probably over MoJo.
I feel like someone should do some post-speech commentary. If he plays
Like a MoJo rebuttal?
Yeah, I mean, I'll live tweet the thing.
Yeah.
There's already 18 rebuttals to it or responses.
But it's not our rebuttal.
That's true.
Our rebut is better than their rebut.
We should do it in Swahili. There's a Spanish rebuttal.
Chances are, though, how long do those usually go? About an hour and a half, right?
Sometimes as little as 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes an hour and a half.
Stephen will definitely throw his rebuttal out there if it ends before his show is over.
And if not, then he won't rebut. And now, the MoJo 50 rebuttal to the State of the Union.
That would work. It would make as much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's
Is that flat black chick from Georgia doing the rebut for the Democrats still?
She is, but
what's her name?
Somebody else, Stacey Abrams. But there's 2 or 3 others too, and in California there's a Spanish version. Did you not? There are several.
You could just air the others in Spanish.
Well, but that wouldn't give it the same flavor.
You're talking the progressive, illegal Mexican rebut?
Yes, they need their own rebuts.
Is there a Freedom Caucus rebut?
Let's see. There's no. Let's see. I don't know that there's a Freedom Caucus rebut, but there are who was the?
I feel confident I can offer our rebut right now.
Bernie Sanders is doing his own.
What?
Bernie Sanders.
Huh?
Yeah. Bernie is doing his. Stacey's doing hers, and that's Spanish.
Lori F&D. Mm-hmm. Damn it with the cookies. Damn it.
Let's see.
Ken Effin Edmond. Damn it with the good cookies.
They're really good.
Okay, I feel confident I can offer our rebut.
All right. Bring it on.
This is the official rebut. Quote, so many words. End quote.
That's it. That could be. That could be it.
If you listen to this program for more than a couple,
Yes.
So number one, so many words. I can tell you there's going to be far too many words. Mm-hmm. Number two, anything he says, you're going to know. You're probably going to be. You may miss a couple of the facts in here and there, but for the most, you're going to know. Now, the only way that's not our rebut is if in the small chance Trump goes big with this thing. If he does what he said, like just reads the list of illegals, something like that.
He's not gonna.
He needs to go scorched earth policy. That's his only path to. I mean, if Howard Schultz would split the ticket or something like that, Trump could have a better shot, and he may get reelected. It's still going to be difficult. They've had 2 years of just abusing this guy like few presidents ever have been.
Right.
Even Martin Van Ruin didn't get beat up like this, But if he goes scorched earth policy, he emboldens all of the people that supported him because they want a bold right side president. They haven't been looking for somebody to do the right things and just, go ahead and get the job done. Most people want somebody to be an ass. Wrong or right, they do.
Kevin thinks this is the most important speech of the president's life. I hope Trump had some people help him write this one.
It probably is. It is the most important speech of his political career, maybe of his life, until his next speech.
Right.
And that one will be the...
Well, there's only 9 days until the shutdown occurs again. And tonight's going to be high. I think we're all missing the point here. The real drama is going to be that beautiful, beautiful camera shot. Doesn't Pelosi sit right behind him in this one?
She does.
So this is going to be gold with her over his shoulder.
She'll be over his right shoulder, I believe, and Pence over his left. Is that how it is?
You want to bet that she will be doing what the guy in the airline seat was doing? Picking her teeth.
Now, it used to be they would be kind of stone faced, and while everybody else there would blah blah stand up.
So last year,
well, it is because she needs to signal to all of her peeps that she's unhappy.
I predict that by tomorrow there will be 100,000 memes of her rolling her eyes, doing every facial expression you can
eating
imagine.
Tide Pods.
Yeah. She'll be doing 100 different things.
I hope Mike Pence can stay awake because he's the only one getting Trump's back, literally, right there.
Yeah, that's true.
He needs to stop him from et tu, Nancy.
Right. Yeah, he's the last line of defense as she's reaching to stab him right in the back.
Daggers, right?
Although I don't think she'd stab him in the back. She'd turn him around first and stab him in the throat.
We really have been watching too much of The Punisher.
Then she'd take his face and rub it down a broken mirror. So
folks, if you have not watched The Punisher on Netflix, it is a really good series and one of the most graphically violent shows ever.
That's why they call him the Punisher.
Oh, he punishes her.
Yes,
he does.
Yeah.
All right, so State of the Union address tonight going to be a spectacle. I just hope it's a big enough spectacle. I hope Trump doesn't do the catty little digs. He should either give.
Oh, he will. Of course, he will.
No. He probably will. You're right. But what I'm saying is, I hope he takes it to one extreme or the other. He either goes above the garbage and acts presidential and just busts out an amazing speech, putting himself above all of that, kind of old school, inspirational, or goes scorched earth policy.
It doesn't matter what he does. He's wrong. That will be it tomorrow. It makes
course.
No difference what he says.
From those people, sure.
It's wrong.
But I'm hoping he does one of those two. If it's the standard political speech where they get a couple of digs in, like Obama and Bush and Clinton all kind of pioneered.
I hope he comes out of the gate, and this is something we've never seen before. I'm with Izzo on this.
What's that? I don't know.
There's a plan. That there is a plan behind this bizarre.
Some people think there's a plan.
There's
not a plan.
There could be a plan.
I bet he's got two plans. One, he walks in and does his normal thing. And two, when he shakes Nancy's hand, she says, "Don't forget this is my house." He changes his plan.
You think she'll say that?
Come on, dude. I don't know if she'll say it. But
I mean, this
this
is a new world, so she absolutely could say it.
Psych in your.
He's going in. He's going in. He's not knowing when he walks in the door whether he's gonna announce the national security issue or not. Right. Until she says something. Emergency. As soon as she opens her mouth, he's like, "Yep, I'm doing it."
But there's something to be said for psyching your opponent out because she has to sit behind him. Mm-hmm. So imagine if he leans over to her as she hands him and says, "F you." You effing C-bomb. Right, something so graphic and horrible that she would be triggered by and smiles and turns, right?
I'll bet he makes some comment about having
I'm not saying these things are nice. No. I'm just saying this is a game you could play.
Yeah, these are the things. He could make this an amazing speech, and I hope he does.
I hope he does as well. I'm not confident, but hopefully Izzo's right in this thing.
Yeah. Dynamite just brought up a really good point. Abrams was the Dems' best choice for the State of the Union rebuttal. Hey, America, listen to the loser who holds no office about how we plan to win.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Although she is, she's very sharp. She's very
bright.
Might be
very sharp.
And when you hear her speechify, she seems like Obama, very reasonable. Obama's keynote address in 2014 at the DNC convention.
Right.
Was amazing. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. When you go back and listen to it, if you're able to remove all of the knowledge you now have of Obama and what he did, and just listen to it, or if someone had shown you a transcript of the speech and you didn't know who had given it,
right,
you would be blown away and say, even on the right, parts of it, most of it, you'd go, yes, this is what, because he didn't give specifics.
Right.
And he talked about many right-wing things, fiscal responsibility.
Sure.
Stuff like that. And you're like, wow.
Uh-huh.
He was just full of crap. Stacey Abrams is like that. When I've seen her on these other shows, doesn't give specifics. And then always, listen, I'm just reasonable. It's like the people who've come up with common sense gun laws. If you don't know all the details, you realize they're not common sense. They're just more gun laws.
Are far better at doing that. The left in general is far better at doing that than
that is true. Eric Cantor was brilliant at doing that. He had the people of Virginia believing for years that he was actually voting conservative when his record, most of his tenure, was a D. Mm-hmm. Voting as a conservative 60% of the time. His wife is progressive. His family's all progressive.
Look at Howard Schultz. Everything he's said so far makes sense.
Right, that's what I've said. Now, you have to understand, if you had just shown me to tell me anything about Howard Schultz's history as far as voting for supporting some liberal issues, and you said businessman,
yep, and
he's a businessman who did the right things most of the time for his employees by offering them college tuition. I say the right things like being a good employer, somebody you'd want to work for. I say absolutely. Made himself couple billion bucks. Awesome. The things that he said on those can't identify it. We're not fiscally responsible. Great. You just have to realize some of those pieces he hasn't given specifics, and he still supports more laws in order to get this done.
Right.
More laws because he wants that centralized government that can control people, that can force you into not doing wrong.
Right.
Can't legislate morality. You can't legislate or force people to be kind to each other. It's not how the game works.
But shouldn't we try for the children?
We have tried.
Yeah. Shouldn't we keep trying?
Look
Why
at
would
how
you want to give up on
Look
love?
at how thin everybody is. Look at how healthy everybody is.
Look at the war on drugs has been very successful.
Look at how people don't do drugs. Look at how safe people drive. All of these things, even though they've forced us to try to change our behavior, we just find ways around it because
we're humans.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Doesn't it, though? Damn straight.
Also at the State of the Union tonight, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has announced who her guest will be.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Anna Marie
Alberghetti?
Close enough. Do you know, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she put out via Twitter, I'm proud to announce that my State of the Union guest will be Anna Maria. Anna Maria is the New York 14er who famously jumped into the elevator with Senator Jeff Flake to elevate the stories of survivors everywhere.
Good for her. She's having a very good time. Both of them.
New York 14. Is that her district?
Probably not. Which district does I don't even know which one she does have.
It may be. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason she put her. But regardless, she's the one. Do you remember the elevator with Jeff Flake?
Oh, yeah.
During the Brett Kavanaugh hearings? And we played some of the audio at the time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's the one she's going to have as a guest. Why? Because she's elevated stories of survivors everywhere. Let me remind you via audio that confrontation.
It is her district, too.
Jeff Flake, during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, getting into an elevator during one of the recesses, and a couple of women corner him in the elevator. Captive audience, which, by the way, is kidnapping. It's unlawful restraint.
Yes, okay.
It is.
Yes.
If you're stopping somebody, they wouldn't let him get out of the elevator.
Am I being detained?
They wouldn't let him get in the elevator and proceed to a different floor. They were surrounding him and would not let him leave.
I think he had more to do with that than we know. I think he was a willing hostage.
No, he was not. Not in this one. Jeff Flake is douchey, and he's wrong with his votes. He's wishy-washy at best. He's a progressive at worst. He was frustrated by this. His people tried to get him out of it. Eventually, they did. They had to call security. You could tell Jeff was wanting. He was antsy. He didn't know what to do. And the reason I say this, he knew he was on camera and couldn't tell the women what he wanted to say. Get the F off.
It gave him the chance to appear concerned.
No, he didn't. He came across bad in this. This was not one of those. I don't believe that. Anyways, here she is with a couple of other women.
So let's listen to Jeff Flake.
Oh, right here. Here's the...
Yes, I understand. You have children in your family. Think about them. I have 2 children. I cannot imagine that for the next 50 years, they will have to have someone in the Supreme Court who has been accused of violating a young girl. What are you doing, sir?
I was sexually assaulted and nobody believed me. I didn't tell anyone.
I don't know which one of these two screeching women are Anna Maria, but one of them, and they both have stories.
All women that they don't matter, that they should just stay quiet because if they tell you what happened to them, you're going to ignore them. That's what happened to me, and that's what
you're telling all women to remain quiet. First of all, Jeff Flake was one of the best advocates they had because he's a Republican that was siding with them quite often. Number 2, was Jeff Flake, anybody on the right, anybody else saying that Ballsy Ford shouldn't speak her mind, shouldn't make an allegation, shouldn't be investigated? Of course she should have. And of course it should be investigated, but when there's nothing there, move on. Right. Is there anybody saying that by his nomination, we're saying women shouldn't be heard? That we're soft on people who attack women, who harass women? Of course not. I don't know if you know this, but people on the right with more traditional values believe in protecting women and children first, for example. They'd have you believe that it was just the good old boys network and we're all out there abusing women. That is not the case. but listen to their crazy ideas.
All women in America, that they don't matter. They should just keep it to themselves, because if they have told the truth, you're just going to help that man to power anyway. That's what you're telling all of these women. That's what you're telling me right now. Look at me when I'm talking to you. You're telling me that my assault doesn't matter, that what happened to me doesn't matter, and that you're going to let people who do these things into power. That's what you're telling me when you vote for him. Don't.
Nothing was proven
exactly
about Brett Kavanaugh. And this is what you're saying. This is what you're screeching.
Anybody?
Look away from me. Look at me and tell me that it doesn't matter what happened to me.
Look at me over and over. Look at me and tell me, how is Jeff Flake the center of this? He's not accused.
No.
If she wants to go off on her accuser, maybe even if it's legit.
The emotions she's feeling are real, and I get that. And
sure,
whatever happened to her, I'm sure it's horrible. But yeah, it's.
Are those emotions real?
It could be.
She's
Absolutely.
not just the person who confronted Jeff Flake in the elevator during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. She's also the co-executive director for the Center for Public Democracy.
Are you suggesting that there could be nefarious reasons behind her performance?
With a little bit of research on the Center for Public Democracy, you realize that one of their biggest donors, who has given them millions of dollars over the past few years, is the Open Society Foundation. Do you know anything about the Open Society Foundation?
Shouldn't we have an open society? Shouldn't we be transparent? Shouldn't it be full of love?
The Open Society Foundation was founded by and is funded by... Starts with a G, ends with an orange, Soros. This is one of those organizations that he funded and funnels money to other organizations like this.
Little shell game.
So maybe what she said was true and she was abused. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was and she was just ginning this up a little more for the cameras.
Could be.
I would say that even if she's telling the truth about that she was assaulted or whatever happened to her that she claims happened to her is true, and even if she is still emotionally whatever, at least a part of this spectacle of Jeff Flake in the elevator, at least a portion of it, whether that's 1%, 10%, at least some of it was for the cameras to promote her, to promote progressive causes, and to promote the Center for Public Democracy. And now Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is complicit in that as well.
Of course she is. And the thing is, somebody brought it up on Facebook, that most of Kavanaugh's accusers admitted that they were lying. So everything that this woman is saying, for the most part anyway, rings hollow.
If these people are being genuine, and even though we have laid this out pretty well, you pretty much know. You got it. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And I will put all of that speculation and probable motives and all of the other questions, concerns, and comments we've had on hold. I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to talk to her and people like her. Let's have a chat about it. And if your motivations are pure, if you truly just want the world to be a better place, if you truly want a safer place for all people, if you want equality, if you want all of these buzz phrases that you throw out there, I am willing to work tirelessly to help you. I'm willing to have that conversation. We can sit down here on the air. We can sit down away from the cameras and microphones over a beer or nachos. We can sit in some other controlled environment with your peeps around. I'd be on pretty much any platform, any broadcast platform. It can be private, any of those scenarios to have this conversation, as long as you allow me to ask some basic questions and you trust that I'm truly trying to get information. I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
They will not do that because, and I'm only left with this as an explanation, I can come up with nothing else, that they are not genuine in what they say. They want progressive policies. That's it. They want big control. And why? What is their true motivation? Their true motivation is the same as the woman who wrote the letter to the gentleman on flight 1451.
To hear their voice rattle around in their own head?
Yeah. It's me.
Mm-hmm.
Me. 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 That's all of this.
Don't forget.
Progressives, that's what they're saying. And the insult to injury is they won't admit it. It's simply them trying to make themselves feel good because they were the fat kid or molested or picked last for the softball team, or the lesbians didn't want you even though you were a lesbian, whatever it is, or that you're so emotionally unstable. It's all about you, me. They wrap it in all of this other crap, but that's ultimately what it comes down to. Now, I will admit, many times in my life, it's about me. I'm not hiding that. And I'm willing to say it's truly equally about you. That's the reason I support the Constitution and libertarian values that say, hey, me, over here. And as long as you allow me in my little corner to me, I'll allow you to stay in your little corner and you.
It all started with participation trophies, don't forget. That's when this whole thing about me really rolled itself out.
I'll tell you what, if you want to battle organizations like the Open Societies Foundation or the Center for Popular Democracy, there's an easy way to do it. Simply take you maybe 10, 15 minutes today on the phone at Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com/doc.
That's too simple.
Make sure to use the promo code MoJo and sign up. All you're going to do is switch over to a company that has equal or better coverage from what you're using now. They got great coverage. You'll probably save money, so you're doing yourself a me as well. But you're out there fighting for all of those values because a little bit of the money that Patriot Mobile takes in profits goes to fight organizations like that. It battles George Soros each and every day. That's what they're about. That's why they were started.
Tea Party Patriots. They give to the NRA.
Yeah.
They give to Freedom Works. They give to the Faith and Freedom Coalition.
So Patriot Mobile is really you.
It is.
You. PatriotMobile.com/doc. Promo code MoJo or 800-A-PATRIOT. Please switch today because it's about you.
It is.
You.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. MoJo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump apparently set to extend an olive branch to his political foes when he delivers his State of the Union speech tonight. The White House says Mr. Trump will stress unity and bipartisanship in the speech, the theme of which is choosing greatness.
Tonight's primetime speech comes amid a bitter border wall fight that nearly derailed the address altogether. It was originally scheduled for last week, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi postponed the speech because of the partial government shutdown. Even though the country is polarized by politics and the president and House Democrats haven't gotten off to a good start, White House officials say the president will embrace unity and talk about what can be accomplished in the year ahead. Greg Clugston, the White House.
We expect immigration and border security to be among key issues raised by the president. Mr. Trump may also declare a near-total U.S. victory over ISIS.
President Trump has pledged to withdraw all U.S. troops from Syria, where they'd been battling to wipe out the last remaining strongholds of the Islamic State group. But a Pentagon watchdog report warns IS remains a potent force of battle-hardened and well-disciplined fighters that could likely resurge in Syria, absent continued counterterrorism pressure.
Correspondent Ben Thomas, State of the Union, tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. Well, we don't know exactly what they're looking for, but federal prosecutors in New York have subpoenaed some documents from the Trump Inaugural Committee. Committee spokeswoman says committee cooperating fully with the investigation. 10 people are dead. An apartment building fire in Paris. It may be a case of arson. Authorities say they're holding a 40-year-old woman who lived in the building and who they say has a history of psychiatric issues. During a fight with a neighbor, the suspect allegedly threatened to torch the building. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures in positive territory ahead of the opening bell. Dow futures up 86 points. S&P futures 5 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Over recent years, elections and politics in general have become increasingly partisan. One party is pitted against the other as each advances its own stereotypes. President George Washington believed this was detrimental to the nation. He declared, "Let me warn you in the most solemn manner against the baneful effects of the spirit of party. Its common and continual mischiefs are sufficient to make it the interest and duty of a wise people to discourage and restrain it. It agitates the community with ill-founded jealousies and false alarms. It kindles the animosity of one party against another. In governments purely elective, the spirit of party is a spirit not to be encouraged. Therefore, in this year's elections, do not allow a political party to be a deciding factor. Vote for each candidate according to the principles and policies that he individually represents."
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact Wall Builders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
Hi, it's Doc Thompson for Matthew 25 Ministries. Matthew 25 Ministries is one of the few charities I'll actually endorse because I know them. I've worked with them, and I know almost all of the money that you donate goes to help people. Go to m25m.org, m25m.org.
Say what you want to say about Cortez. She's not unattractive. Whoopi Goldberg, ugly as dirt. She one ugly woman. She ugly. Whoopi is jealous.
Making radio great again. The Cartel with Matt and Ron. This morning at 11. MoJo 50. Rebel rousers, instigators, troublemakers, freaks, agitators, fanatics, scallywags, mutants, scamps, firebrands, rogues, scoundrels, MoJo sexuals. MoJo 50.
Which one are you?
Scallywag.
The mothership has landed.
I was kind of roguelike today.
And that's
with a touch of scoundrel.
That's it. Well, yes.
But every day, I am 100% MoJo sexual.
Are you?
Doc Thompson, Brad Staggs, your daily MoJo Live, MoJo 50. Please make sure to check out Matlock. Not because he has a quality broadcast following ours, but because he needs the help. And he needs the support. It's kind of an outreach. It's kind of like a charity thing.
He's like the crying child on an airplane.
100% goes to me.
It's all about you. It's all about you.
It's all about me.
It's a little bit of charity. Now, some of us say, hey.
You're saying that like we didn't know it.
We'll stand on our abilities in performance. We don't need the charity.
Hey,
but you're saying you'll take anything you can get, people listening.
Well, yes. I mean, I'm not too proud to beg.
Well,
look at this face.
Someone in your position can't afford to be
look
too
at this
proud.
face. I mean,
I met my wife online.
So I have breaking news, by the way.
What is it?
Have you heard the latest?
What's that?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was at some event last night that MSN covered.
No,
but there wasn't one. There wasn't one picture.
Wait, that's what they're claiming?
Yeah.
Was she wearing sunglasses?
Wait a minute. So she's still not at the State of the Union tonight? She's not going
at all.
But she.
I know.
Okay.
But here's my question. I'm going to cover a little bit of this on the show today.
Uh-huh.
If you're at an event, and the conspiracy theory is you're dead, incapacitated, on hospice care, whatnot, why wouldn't the left have taken 80 million pictures and said, look, F you, she's alive. Here's the picture. Shut all your mouths, pie holes. No pictures at all. No press at all.
Okay, yeah, I'm calling
it's set up.
Bravo Sierra.
Thank you.
Wow.
Really? She was
MSN. Go look at MSN.
No,
all my buddies have been sending it to me this morning. They're like, hey, Ruth's alive. I'm like, pictures? No pictures.
So this is what they're claiming as their cover.
Yes.
National Museum of Women.
So is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Washington.
In Washington.
So while you and I will say, rightfully so, forget left or right, this is a sitting Supreme Court justice who has not been even seen
since November 8th.
Since November 8th.
No pictures.
December, January. We are almost 3 months into this, and you cannot even produce
a picture.
You can't even get her to come out on the balcony and wave and go, hi, thanks for the support.
You know what the event was, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's for her deal, for the RBG movie or something.
Right. I wonder though. You know what? I'll let you.
I'm going to get into it today,
it's a
but
musical,
I find it.
It's a musical about her life, which is going to be interesting. And it was her daughter-in-law.
Yep.
That created and performed this thing.
Yeah.
So she was able to get out of the house.
Yes.
Just to see a musical about her.
Yes.
But can't show up at the State of the Union address.
Right. But that, by the way, you know how they're playing that off. So the press has said that Ruth Bader Ginsburg hasn't been to either of the Trump State of the Unions.
Yes, she has.
I know. It's a lie.
I mean,
she was there last year.
She sat in the back of the theater.
We have footage of that, right?
I know. Yeah, I'm going to go find it today.
Did she fall asleep during his or during Obama's?
I think it was Obama's.
Yeah.
But I think she's been at one of Trump's. I don't think she was at the last one, but she's been at one of the two.
I thought maybe she hasn't, but
they're saying she's never been, so it's not
she didn't
something
speak.
unusual.
Many in the crowd didn't even know she was there because she sat in the back, and they only saw her as they left the performance.
Last night?
Yeah. So if she didn't, they may have weekend Bernie's her.
But here's my theory. You've got Ruth Bader Ginsburg out in public. You've got the theories running around, and they know it. The left is not stupid. They know that people are saying, where's Ruth? Where's Ruth? It's all over Twitter. I mean, James Woods is leading that deal right now. Would you not, as the egotistical...
Would you not?
Yes, thank you. As the egotistical left media, would you not be snapping pictures right and left with a great big middle finger to the public saying, see, she's alive?
Yes, but you can, you play this, you play a little possum there. So what you do is you let everybody go nuts, and then you go, here's Ruth. What are you nuts doing? They should be willing to do that tonight or something, but that's weird. I would say, to sum it up, Matt, about this entire thing, the claim that she was there last night and she really is, but we haven't seen from her, I would say this about it.
Bravo Sierra.
That's Bravo Sierra. That's bold. All right, cool. There we go.
We've scoured news platforms and agencies around the globe for today's most profound news headlines. Presenting them now, here's Brad Staggs.
All right, Jackholes, this portion of your headlines brought to you by Tar River Arms, America's virtual gun store, the most convenient place in the world to shop for firearms. TRAguns.com. Count up to the government shutdown. Number 2 is T-9. And counting.
Count down to the shutdown.
Count up. We're counting up.
How are you counting up?
I'm counting up.
You're counting down the number of days. Every day it gets less.
I'm counting up to the days.
I so hate you with that stuff.
You know what we now know? IUD insertions went up after Trump's election. Not IED, IUD.
Intrauterine devices?
There's a significant increase in women with commercial insurance getting long-acting reverse.
What is the...
Well, they were concerned about his restrictions on, or his ease of restrictions on what employers had to cover. So
they were getting it done while they still could?
Exactly. So, yeah.
Well, everybody likes their own form of birth control. It's a personal choice, but that always seemed not good.
No. You're ready to go anywhere you want to go.
That's a woman who's really committed to having casual sex. That's an extra. Am I right? Am I wrong to assume that?
Nope. I mean, maybe she enjoy.
I may not even know when I'm having casual sex. I may be drunked up. Oh my gosh, I'm having casual sex right now.
She may just be a responsible parent who doesn't want any more children.
Now, that part is very responsible versus people who just do this and then spit out a couple kids and I'm paying for. But I would say, given people who, well, the pill, I guess you could say the same thing, couldn't you? Condoms versus diaphragms. Hey, hold on a second. I've got to take care of this moment.
Remember the sponge?
Do they still do those at all?
No. Nope, they don't.
Why not?
I think it caused taint rickets.
I think there's an opportunity here.
It's to bring back the sponge?
Yeah. And then you know what you do? You do a whole secondary line because you start with the original product, then you do some the scrunge.
Yes.
The scrubby edge.
How about once you're done with the sponge in the first place, you can use it to scrub the floors or the sinks.
It's a contraceptive.
Thank you.
It's a floor scrubber.
Thank you.
Wow.
You're saving money and avoiding pregnancy at the same time.
That's a hell of a plan.
I'm just saying.
You could donate your sponge to people who don't have sponges to scrub.
That's right.
There's a whole cottage industry that could crop up around this.
On the other end of the spectrum, a man wants to sue his parents for giving birth to him without his consent.
Hey, what?
Part of the anti-natalist movement says that having children is morally wrong. Raphael Samuel said he had a great relationship with his parents, but he has compared having children to kidnapping and slavery. He's 27 years old. He's from Mumbai. He's an anti-natalist who basically says it's wrong to put an unwilling child through the rigmarole of life for the pleasure of its parents.
I have a friend who happens to be uber progressive. This is he's a nice guy. He's smart. He's funny. But he just has these bent values when it comes to progressivism. And I first heard that basic idea. I didn't hear it was called natalism.
Anti-natalism.
Okay, natalism would be like neonatal, meaning kids. Right. So natalism would be having kids. Anti-natalism, okay.
Right.
But he didn't call it that. It's just 20-some years ago, he said to me something like, one of the most selfish things you can do is have children.
You know who else?
And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, think about it. The kid doesn't ask to be born. You're choosing that they live. And I was like, what the hell is going through your head where that's where you get? Now, I guess you could make that argument, but this guy has an option. There's an option for you. If your parents forced you to be born, if you don't want to live, there's an option.
You can abort yourself.
You can abort yourself. So an anti-natalist movement is a legalized
abortion.
Legalized
self-abortion.
What do you call it? Suicide.
Right. It sounds better if you just say self-abortion. It sounds less stigmatic than suicide.
Self-abortion sounds like you're giving yourself a home abortion, like you're pregnant and.
What's wrong with that?
I'm just saying it's confusing.
I
would say personal abortion, abort yourself. There's something in there.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, if we do that, they'll be all over it.
Oh, yeah. They'll promote it for us. My brother actually used to say the same thing.
That they'll promote it for us?
No, about not bringing kids into the world. I'm telling you, my family warped. Hawaii, the beautiful island of Hawaii, is flirting with the idea of becoming the first state to ban the sale of cigarettes.
Wow.
Lawmakers proposing that cigarette sales would effectively end by 2024. The ban would go into effect progressively starting next year by raising the minimum age for buying cigarettes from 21 to 30. 2 years later, no one under, then this is where it gets really good. 2 years later, no one under the age of, anybody?
50.
100 would be allowed to buy cigarettes. Why don't you just outlaw them? I mean, for crying out loud.
So it's their backdoor prohibition. Again, that's confusing. It sounds like it's a prohibition on backdoor, and that's not what I meant.
No, it's not
I meant backdoor prohibition.
Yeah.
A backdoor cigarette prohibition. That's a better way to say it.
Yeah, I think so.
And again, that's not cigarettes that are using.
No.
It's very
It's hard to, if you can't do that with a cigarette either. They just get soggy.
At the same time, these knuckleheads are saying we got to legalize pot because this is a progressive idea. This is a statist idea. The state will control it.
Right.
They're telling you, yes, you should be free to make your choices about marijuana.
Right.
Even smoking marijuana, but not when it comes to smoking tobacco.
Well, tobacco kills.
So does marijuana and everything else.
Marijuana doesn't kill you.
Okay. So, is there a ban on being able to smoke little bits of rolled up paper in Hawaii?
No, that's a good point. So
how about if I just go out and get oak leaves off the ground?
Clove cigarettes.
What about hair, human hair? If I just wanted to put that in and smoke, can I? Is there a law that specifically outlaws that?
Nope.
What about a little piece of carpeting, old trash, coffee grounds? No. So we have a law that says that they're trying to, again, regulate the smoking, consumption, the burning and inhalation of tobacco.
Well, then, yeah, we'll see.
This is why their progressive ideas always end up conflicting.
And at the other end of the country, New Jersey.
Which end is New Jersey?
You take your choice there. New Jersey is about to require schools to teach LGBT history. That's actually the second state in the union California.
Really?
Yep.
What do they teach?
It's a move hailed by civil rights groups as a step toward inclusion and fairness under the measure. Public schools must include lessons about the political, economic, and social contributions of individuals who are gay and transgender. Why don't they also include...
what are you talking about?
Why? We also have to include anyone in bestiality. You have to.
Doesn't their sexual orientation not matter? They're just as good as blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
So now you have to single them out and go, oh, yeah. By the way, Amelia Earhart, lesbian.
Bill also requires teaching about contributions of people who are disabled.
By the way, I don't know if she was a lesbian, but we're pretty sure she was a lesbian, right?
Might be. She may have just been a handsome
And how many
woman.
people do we know, like way back? Wasn't that not discussed? People weren't out of the closet?
Well, it would be hard. We may have to out some people in that.
And don't forget James Buchanan, the first gay president.
He had
Aunt Nancy Miss Fancy.
He had the Oval Office decorated fabulously.
It was. Do you remember who his significant other was?
Was it Stephen?
Senator Rufus King. They were longtime companions. Neither one of them were married. They lived together, even in the White House.
They may have just been brother husbands.
Brother husbands. They were just the BFFs. Didn't get it done.
They could have been brother husbands.
They were brother husbands who did like to have sex, though. That was it.
There's nothing wrong. No, hey, whatever
they were
into.
So stereotypical gay as far as like they were both lovers of fashion and all of this stuff, and going to galas and such around DC, and people accepted. They may not have been thinking graphically like, hey, he's putting that there and that guy's doing this to him. They just knew that they were fancy.
Yep.
They were, you know.
They had really, really nice choice in footwear.
Kids, gather around. All right, today, as dictated by New Jersey state law, I, as your educator, have to teach you LGBT, gay, whatever, history. We have to teach you about those great people. Now, many don't realize that several of Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders were actually gay.
We're just
a couple of them were transgender. No. I don't mean they went up San Juan Hill. I just meant they were rough riding.
It was tough, let me tell you. You know, stressed spelled backwards is desserts?
No, there's two S's.
Yes, there's two S's in desserts.
I know, that's what I mean. There's
two S's in stress.
Right, exactly. What about it?
It's just fun fact. Stressed spelled backward is desserts. You know what else? TRA Guns is America's virtual gun store. Most convenient place in the world to shop for firearms.
You just did stress and desserts. TRA Guns backwards is?
Art.
No, Snugrat.
No, it's Snugart. It's not Snugrat. It's Snugart.
Snugart. Excuse me, Snugart.
Jeez. How could you?
But you only said art. You didn't get the Snuggat. They don't come all indignant. What were you on flight 1451?
I may have been in the seat in front of the child. Yes.
It's Snugart.
I brought show and tell today.
What do you got there? Some Snugart?
I have a little North American Arms 22 Magnum revolver that I've had for some time. And this little bad boy, you can find these right now at TRA Guns. For those of you listening on the podcast, this is a little concealed carry gun that will fit in the palm of your hand.
Hey, no. Don't talk down about yourself that way. Your gun is not that little. It's just as good as every other gun.
It does kind of remind me.
Don't do that.
It reminds me of Izzo. This is a 22 mag. Let me just tell you, and people think these are just the cutest little guns. Look at how cute it looks, like a gun for a leprechaun.
It's a leprechaun gun.
It's a little leprechaun. This is a 22 Magnum. You know what that'll do to the bad guy?
A lot more than the 21 Magnum. I know that.
I mean, look at that. Feel that. Feel how hard that is.
Wow, that is.
Feel how hard that is. I mean, and it's not incredibly big, but it's hard. It's longer than your average round. Let me just tell you, 22 Magnum. If you're looking for a really good
by the way, this is not a prop, right? This is actually a gun.
That's a real gun, yes.
Okay.
But you can get these at Tar River
Where's
Arms.
the trigger? Is that it right there?
That'd be the little thing you pull there with your forefinger.
There's no trigger guard.
No, there's not. No, that's why the handle folds over the trigger.
No, but I still want a trigger guard. I may just, dude, I'm kind of, because I'm sloppy.
It's a single action.
I know, but I'm still sloppy.
You have to cock it before you pull it.
I still want a trigger guard.
Why?
It's safety.
It does.
It's double safety. It's my progressive attitude. Mandate they have double. You know what? We need 2 trigger guards.
The hammer.
The hell with that.
The hammer is the trigger guard.
We need a special trigger guard, and the trigger must be removed.
To fire this gun, you have to peck at it with
How do you
your
fold
teeth.
it up?
Push the little button right there.
Which button?
The little button. The button.
I
Right
don't
there.
see a button.
Yeah, you do.
This one?
Yeah, push them both.
that's the one.
Push them both.
Oh,
Folds it. See?
Oh, wow.
See how nice that fits in the little palm of your hand right there. Nice concealed. Okay, anyway, you can buy the North American Arms guns right there.
You see that?
I did. That's like extra bullet storage.
Okay.
It's at traguns.com.
I'll tell you what, that's some serious snug art there.
There you go.
traguns.com. Check them out today. They have revolutionized online firearm purchases, but there may be a better way to say it.
I think that we just did. You said get a little gun like
Did
this.
you get their new little slogan?
Oh, that one.
So,
what is it?
We
You
used
tell
to
me.
say they've revolutionized online firearm purchases, and they told us that they've kind of changed their slogan too. What is
the
it?
most convenient place in the world to shop for firearms.
You've added some words.
No, I didn't.
No, I'm saying they did.
Oh, they did, yes. There's some words in there.
Yeah.
traguns.com.
Okay.
Movie Pass update. They've been hit with a lawsuit from subscribers alleging it's a bait and switch scheme.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Ho-ho gambling here?
Didn't see that one coming. The two Movie Pass subscribers filed a lawsuit alleging the company engaged in a deceptive, unfair bait and switch scheme. They both bought Movie Passes in March of last year for $105 to see any movie at any theater on any day once a day. But the two alleged they were only able to see 3 movies over a 10-month span due to the app constantly saying no movies were available in that.
So they were one of the earlier customers.
Well, no, Movie Pass has been around for years and years.
No, I know, but I mean they were.
With the unlimited plan,
Right.
yes. Because I bought one of those too, and it's true. You could, and I finally got my money out of it. But for a long time, you go to the app and no movies in your area because all the theaters stopped doing business with them.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Man who dated a cockroach for a year and had sex dreams about it says humans aren't as attractive.
I actually saw this story, and there was this whole thing about how do you have sex with a cockroach?
Really? You don't know? Have you? Oh, seriously?
How big was the cockroach?
I'm surprised that you don't
Seriously,
know how you do it.
I mean, just the logistics of the size seems.
It doesn't always have to be about intercourse. Good grief, man. How about start with a kiss? Start with a kiss, boy.
What became of the cockroach? Because they're not together anymore.
I know what. I think it dead.
And
it's dead.
Did you see how he disposed of it?
Found it. Sadly, wow. Did he eat? Oh, damn it! He ate it. That's right. He wanted her to live forever within him. He decided to eat.
He ate it with the side of human hair and washed it down with Chicago sewer water.
I hate you.
Now, Chicago sewer water. You can identify it from that rainbow sheen.
Let's move on to
the gray hue of Chicago's gutter water.
Let's just move
with
on.
the rainbow sheen.
Let's just move on.
That's how I'm gonna market it.
Let's move on to
with the rainbow sheen.
A public service announcement. If you lost a USB thumb drive, you can get it back, but it's going to cost you some seal poop.
Did they look at what's on it? Did they look at what's on it?
Yes, they did. They found pictures.
Then I don't know anything about it.
Researchers of leopard seal scat defrosted a slab of it to search for whatever they searched for and discovered a USB drive with pictures and videos, and it still worked. There was one of a kayak.
How does the seal, what is that? Why are they charging seal? I don't get what that has to do with it.
What do you mean, charging seal?
They said charging seal poop if you want it back.
Well, yes, because if you want your USB drive back, they want you to provide them with some seal poop. So
why? I don't get. What's the connection?
There isn't. They just want somebody to go out and do the work for them. They want somebody to bring it in there so that they have more to look. You can go to niwa.com, or I guess it's leopardseal.org to find out more. Leopard seal.
Do we have any idea what the going conversion rate dollars to seal poop?
That's a very good question, but I think if you just take a little shovel of it, you'd be fine.
I mean, is it $4? Is it $20? Same as downtown? Is it $150?
Same as downtown Vegas.
Okay.
What do you get when you combine coffee grounds with fermented pineapple pulp?
One hell of a party.
A Japanese bath.
That's a Japanese bath?
Yeah, it's said to be very good for skin and it lessens wrinkles. The month that you would find the most significant rise in the consumption of decaffeinated coffee?
January.
Yep. Everybody trying to quit it in January because of the New Year's resolutions, and then they finally just give up.
Oh, I thought it was just the opposite going, all right, I made it through the holidays, and now?
Nope.
January, the long gray winter has begun.
He would count out 60 coffee beans each time he prepared a cup of coffee. Who was it?
Emeril Lagasse.
Beethoven.
Oh, damn it. You got to don't answer yet.
We're running out of time.
I'm going to need more than one guess. You got to say no. Do you have any other guesses?
All right, so who was it?
Beethoven.
See, you knew it. APR Coffee.
Try it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. It is the best coffee in the world. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. And it says it all when you say it is the official coffee of your Daily Mojo and Mojo 50.
I'm drinking some now.
I'm bathing in it.
Tuesday, February 5th. Are those coffee grounds all over you?
They are.
636 days until election 2020.
In the year of our Lord, 2019.
Trayvon Martin would be 24 years old today. Hank Aaron.
Of course, he still looks like he's 13. Wow. They still use that picture.
Aaron, yes, he does. Hank Aaron's 84, Sarah Evans 47, and Bobby Brown is 49. And what happened in 1917?
On this date?
Yes.
Something with World War II. No. Oh, 17th Amendment was passed. Ratified.
No.
Damn it, what was it?
Congress overrode President Woodrow Wilson's veto and passed the Immigration Act. It's fascinating. You should read up about this one. Even then, they were arguing 102 years ago. There you go. I'm done. Those are your headlines.
High capacity, fully automatic, large caliber, freedom. MoJo 50.
Will Senator Kamala Harris be thanking former mayor of San Francisco, Willie Brown, whom she dated while reportedly Brown was still married, and who helped her climb to the top if she receives her party's nomination for president in 2020? Absolutely not, and here's why. Harris is yet to make any public statements about her former relationship with Brown. Brown, on the other hand, has been more than willing to speak out about Harris, whom he dated when he was 60 and she was 29. Brown said recently, quote, "Sure, I dated Kamala Harris, so what? Yes, I may have influenced her career by appointing her to 2 state commissions when I was Assembly Speaker, and I certainly helped with her first race for District Attorney in San Francisco. As the Speaker of the State Assembly, Brown named Harris to well-paid posts, much to the chagrin of opponents who cried cronyism. But his help didn't seem to endear Harris to Brown once she continued to climb the ladder. In 2003, the San Francisco Weekly reported that, quote, Harris routinely tries to distance herself from her ex-squeeze, whom she hates even talking about. The mere mention of their former liaison makes her shoulders tense, her hands clench, and her eyes narrow. The website quotes the sharp-tongued Harris when she initially ran for district attorney as saying about Brown, quote, "His career is over. I will be alive and kicking for the next 40 years. I do not owe him a thing." She also called him, quote, "an albatross around her neck." Because Harris is a female and a Democrat in the day and age of the Me Too movement, the Women's March, and toxic masculinity, Willie Brown is likely not to be mentioned at all. And that's today's Reality Check with Susan Knowles.
Hi, it's Doc Thompson for Matthew 25 Ministries. Matthew 25 Ministries is one of the few charities I'll actually endorse because I know them. I've worked with them, and I know almost all of the money that you donate goes to help people. Go to m25m.org. m25m.org.
Well, let's talk about the Golden Globes. Christian Bale said Satan inspired him playing Dick Cheney. Did Satan also inspire him to assault his wife, his sister, and his mother? Did Satan also inspire that? Just asking.
Brandon Morse, today at 1. MoJo 50. The Daily Mojo.
All right, lots of comments coming in via the social media platforms. Please follow us on all of them. I don't know what's going on. Twitter is screwing around, by the way.
How so?
Twitter has come up with some other metric because I have been on a steady fall. Every day is like 2, 5, 10, down for weeks. And I keep seeing these messages where people that I have followed and followed me forever, I look and I'm like, well, they're not following me and I'm not following them. What happened?
Maybe they just don't like
you. No, and then I'll go through, I'll look, I'll go back, I'll reload, I go in and it shows that we're following each other. And then I saw a couple people mention that over the weekend. They're like, why do I keep getting these? They're screwing around somehow. They are absolutely trying to control this.
Such a conspiracy theorist.
You know it's true. We have proof of them doing such things in the past, so it shouldn't shock you. So please follow us.
Disparage the fine folks at Twitter. Saddle Tramp, the conversion rate of seal poop to U.S. dollars is still better than the Bolivar. That's true. Dynamite 1122. If you're sitting in a big tub of water to lessen wrinkles, you're doing it wrong. No, see, here's the thing. If it's a big tub of water with coffee grounds and pineapple pulp. If you do that, then you're lessening the wrinkles.
DM at APR Coffee, they were experimenting because coffee in soap and washing with soap and in coffee grounds has not been uncommon. People have done this for centuries or whatever. And he actually played around with the line of soaps or whatever. I didn't love it. It was okay.
Coffee grounds make a great exfoliant.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason people would do it. It wasn't worthy of the quality of his coffee. See, when you have such a fine product like American Pride Roasters coffee, and you launch anything else with your brand on it, it has to be top of the line. I mean, you're talking about simply the best coffee.
Right.
So you've got to make sure it is the best soap ever.
Right.
And it was good. It just was,
and don't get them mixed up. Don't try to drink the soap. Don't try to.
I love APR. It tastes kind of soapy. Kind of a soapy taste. That's because you're drinking the soap.
Remember when they used to put soap in your mouth when you cussed at home? Mm-hmm. You can't do that anymore. That's child abuse. Mm-hmm. You cannot do it anymore. Now just a big old teaspoon of used coffee grounds. That works too. You ever had that? Or a big pile of sand. Rob O, they need to stop the crazy and get back to doing their job.
Which crazy?
The crazy that the entire...
Congress or everybody?
Everybody.
Okay, yeah.
The charade that is...
I think it was... I think it was my friend Willie. Bill Cunningham, 700 WLW in Cincinnati, as his national show, or did on Sunday nights. Willie used to say, shut your mouth and know your role.
That's right. They don't do that very well up on Capitol.
No, most people do not. That's the... I mean, I get it, folks, but you got to check yourself. Most people do not. It's just... Wow.
Weather too cold, Jackhole. You have to have Izzo's condition in order to have sex with a cockroach.
I almost went there. Izzo's fine with that. He knows how to get that done.
Yes, he does.
Izzo's a Paul, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's
guy's aggressive.
Yes, that's a good.
He's not quiet.
No, there are a lot of people here that aren't quiet. You have to narrow that down a little bit. Everything Brad's explained how a gun works. Stephen, I'm with you. Stephen English, every time Brad is explaining how a gun works to Doc, I keep waiting for the bang. No. I take all the rounds out before I hand it to him.
That's not enough.
I'm smart that way. Not in a lot of other ways, but in that way I am smart.
Well, if you remember when when Brad had the gun on set and I thought it was a prop.
And I never hand over sensitive electronics to Doc either.
He's now gotten used to going, this is a real gun.
By the way, this is a real gun.
And that's fine. A little due diligence. I'm just saying, maybe you shouldn't have to do that in the world, but, let's go ahead and just be safe all the way around.
Every gun is loaded.
Should you have to show somebody that there's no round in the chamber? But why do we do it? For that extra little bit of safety is secure and safe and concerned gun owners.
At a gun store, when they hand you a gun, they rack it first if it's a pistol, and they pop out the cylinder if it's a revolver.
Same thing, Doc. This is not a prop. It's a real gun, Doc. Real gun, real gun, Doc. Not a prop.
If you see a lot of butterflies, that's the problem.
I don't know how close I was to randomly firing that at the old place, but I know it had crossed my mind. No, you didn't have any gun. It would have just been a dry fire, but still, it was...
Could have been your lifelong dream right there.
Because if you're dry firing something even, you're likely not holding it to a friend's head. You still hold it to the ground or at a target or something like that. But I may have just brandished it
and
dry fired, so...
Larky, F and Farkin, Brad's gun is way bigger than Dominic Izzo's Micro 1 Plus. I'll bet Brad's doesn't shoot blanks. those records are sealed.
The Jackholes have so much fun with the Dominic Izzo.
Yes, they
Dominic
do.
Izzo, weeknight 7 to 9 Eastern on MoJo 50. 7 to 9 Eastern, MoJo 50. Check out the broadcast. Guy's pretty cool. He's a former cop from the Chicagoland area, and he's a lot of fun in the evening. He does kind.
You want to expand on that? He's a lot of fun in the evening.
I've heard.
You know something that we don't know?
Well, you know.
Okay.
I don't judge. Now he's kind of stream of consciousness, and I love when people call his program, and it's just a fun evening show. So check it out tonight. He'll be on leading up to the State of the Union. I'm sure he'll have some comments on the State of the Union.
You think he's going to be opinionated about that?
Absolutely,
I don't know.
he will.
He's very reserved in his comments. Just loud. That's all.
Tonight, we'll live tweet it. I'll put a bunch of comments on. I hope you will share as well. We'll do that just leading up to it. And then after Dominic Izzo, Stephen Airy and the Defenders will be on, and he'll cover some of it as well. We'll actually carry some of the speech here, MoJo 50. So check that out. I like during the State of the... I have this this long-standing tradition during State of the Union. And I know a lot of people do different things, or people have drinking games or whatever, but I have this long-standing tradition. I challenge everybody because it's a ball. So while I live tweet it and watch it, I'm sitting there eating a big bowl of MoJo wild rice. It's just something that I've started doing, and it gives you the, number one, the sustenance. Right?
The energy to be able to get
energy to be able to do that.
The blah.
Because it's almost a complete protein. You're getting those trace vitamins and minerals, so you're healthy on it. But it also helps balance the I've got to kill them all feeling that you get. Am I the only one who says that?
No, I
try to keep it as my inner voice because that could be bad.
No,
like
I think
seen
a
as
lot of
threat.
people share that feeling.
Okay.
That and the fact that likely there are as many grains of rice in that bowl as there are words coming out at the State of the Union speech.
I think in that regard, the rice is lacking.
Maybe.
Yeah, if you were to have, like a truckload, so many words.
You probably couldn't eat that many grains of rice.
So what I do is I'm like so many rice. Oh, so many grains of rice. And see how it's easy?
And it could be savory. It could be sweet.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like this. You know what? I hate the rice is just so good. Wait, what did he say? That son of a big.
It's like wrapping yourself in a warm blanket.
Right. And the
love.
bites keep coming. The bites keep coming.
Yeah, they do.
And it's so good. And you really want to jazz this thing up? I can't believe in all of the time that I've been eating MoJo wild rice, I had never combined it with the heavenly goodness, the heaven-sent goodness of bacon. I know.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought,
I have since because Patrick made it that way on Black Friday.
Right.
But prior to that, I had not. I had done a bunch of different ways.
And you call yourself a bacon lover?
I just somehow I missed it. But I'll tell you what, when he made it with, a big handful of chopped up bacon, boom, in there, and then a little bit of cheese. You see what I'm going for there? And so imagine this, the big bowl of MoJo wild rice. And you got some cheese, and you got the handful of bacon. Now, if you want to throw some veggies and stuff in too, that's fine.
Just a handful?
I got a big hand.
Fistful.
Who am I, Dominic Izzo? Have you seen my hand?
Fistful. You do have
Look at my hand.
You do have a large hand.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Big hands.
Right. Big, huge.
And then, you season that thing up. You ready for this? You ready? Ready?
Give
me cheese. You got bacon.
Give it to me.
Garlic. I
love garlic.
No. Garlic. No. More garlic.
I eat a whole jar of garlic.
No, it's not enough. More garlic.
No, they knew it the next day.
You ever, the garlic oil you get at like some of the Mongolian barbecues and stuff?
Love those Mongols.
Drizzle some of that on there.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to go crazy? An egg over easy. You throw that on top and you mixed rice that bitch up.
Like a little hat. A little hat.
Oh, fantastic.
An
stuff.
egg hat.
And you're going to be getting all those good feelings like you're eating something bad for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you're eating something good for you. It's good for your body, and it's good for your soul. And usually when you eat, quite often when you eat, it's one or the other. I'm eating broccoli, a big bowl of steamed broccoli, because it's good for me. Good for your soul, for my body. I'm eating a big sleeve of cookies. You know those things are bad for you, but they're good for my soul.
See?
MoJo Wild Rice, good for your body, good for your soul, and will help alleviate the feelings that you want to blow up the Capitol.
Hopefully. Let's not get
Hope springs eternal.
Let's not get the Secret Service.
MoJoWildRice.com. That's MoJoWildRice.com. Check it out and try all their jellies, jams, and syrups as well. You're going to love it. Liam Neeson is, how would you describe his political leanings? Is it
I
kind
don't
of
want
in
to
the,
know.
Is it kind of?
I don't want to know.
You don't already know Liam Neeson? You don't
I
know?
Yes, but I don't. Dude, I like him as an actor.
Fine, but you don't already know his. You've never heard of his crap in the past.
I don't want to know. Do I have to know?
Dude, he might as well have a little spotty mustache right in the middle of his lip and a big swastika on his arm. You will watch my movies. You might as well. The guy is out there.
Why do they do this? I like the movies.
Anyways, that's who he is. Do you really like his movies that much?
Actually, yes. Some of them are Taken was fabulous. And then the one where he plays the retired cop on the train, that was...
Those are all the same movie. He just makes the same movie now.
It's all right. Star Wars was the same movie. It was good, too.
Liam Neeson is... he's okay. Is he one of your favorite actors?
No, but his movies are good. He's
1 to 10 him. 10 being the best.
Better than Steve Guttenberg.
Steve Guttenberg's like a 1 and a somewhere in there.
He owes points.
So, Liam Neeson, 1 to 10 him. 10 being the best actor. Go.
He's 7 or 8. He is. He's good. He's a good actor.
Seriously, what are you getting? Seriously.
7, 8.
7/8. Is that what you...
not 7, 8, 7
like
or
not
8.
quite
He's
one?
a good actor.
He may be. If I have a big bowl of MoJo Wild Rice in me and a couple shots of heroin, he may be a 6. You know, maybe. He's on the plus side of 5. I have a very unique skill set. That's all he's got.
Your
That's
sense
it.
of good and bad is a little odd. Okay.
Excuse me?
All right,
Odd by whose standards?
Society.
Yours?
Society as a whole.
I have 2 words for you. Nancy Pelosi.
I told you I'm rethinking.
I have 3 words for you. Debbie, what's her name? Schultz.
I told you I'm
These are
reconsidering
women that you
them.
have said are hot.
I'm reconsidering those.
Are they hot?
I'm reconsidering. I can't give you a definitive yes or no. And Nancy in her day, come on. And Debbie when she washes her hair.
That actually gets worse, which is all stringy.
Oh no. And shuts her mouth. See, that's the problem that they both.
1 to 10. Debbie, what's her name? Schultz. 10 being the hot end of the scale.
And see, that's a relative question.
It is, but in your mind,
relative question.
She's not a relative of yours, and I'm admitting it's a relative question. So, on your scale, in your opinion,
I see. I can't answer that without.
Do you give
having
her on the plus side of 5?
There are occasions when it's possible.
Your Honor, direct the witness to answer the question.
There are some photos of her. Online.
Senator, answer the question. Senator, you're not answering the question.
I mean, that one right there, she's hot.
1 to 10 it for me. Go.
That's a relative question. I cannot give you a.
See, there it is.
I can't, in good conscience.
Liam, go 1 to 10 it. Go. Come on, go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Liam Neeson is okay on the plus side of 5.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty much got. I have a very unique skill set. Beyond that, he's got nothing. All right. Anyways, Liam Neeson recently recalled during an interview a disturbing incident. He said he knew someone that was allegedly raped. This is many years ago. He knew someone who accused a black man of being of raping them. That they were raped allegedly by a black person. And he said in response to that, he had hoped to get revenge by killing that black bastard.
And the beauty of it is it's all over the news now. All over. They're reporting it everywhere.
No, it's virtually unreported. It should be, because as the big progressive, he's out there, spouting all kinds of crap about people on the right versus people on the left and progressive issues and the same old crap out of Hollywood. Yet he said, quote, I went up and down areas with a cosh. What is a cosh? C-O-S-H? Is that a...
It'd be a bat.
Something like that.
Be a bat with spikes.
Again, quote, I went up and down areas with a cosh, hoping I'd be approached by somebody. I'm ashamed to say that, and I did it for maybe a week, hoping some black bastard would come out of a pub and have a go at me about something, so that I could kill him.
You say that like it's a bad thing. If this was anybody else.
Now, I get.
He'd be in jail.
I get the feelings of revenge. I don't know who this person was. First of all, if I knew anybody was attacked by somebody and raped, I'd have those feelings. But especially if it's somebody I knew or somebody close. Can you imagine if it's your spouse or your daughter, or your husband, your son, whatever, that's attacked? You are going to have feelings of, and it's understandable, I want to punish them. I want to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
If it was somebody really close to me, like my wife.
Oh, yeah. You want to kill them.
And
slowly.
Right. Here's the problem. I admit that all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's not based on race. If it's a white person that attacks my wife, I'm going to feel the same way. And I'm going to say, I'm going to try to find that person and punish them. Not find somebody who kind of looks like them or shares their race. That's what he was saying. Do you understand the difference?
It's the essence of racism, what he is saying.
Yes, exactly. He's saying this. Let me back up. I'm saying, let's say a black guy raped my wife. I may say, I'm going to get that black guy.
Going to find him.
The black being an identifier because I don't know his name or whatever else. It would be the same as saying, my wife was raped by somebody that's 7'5". That's all I know. I'm going to go get that 7'5" dude.
Right.
All right. Liam Neeson is saying, I was hoping that any black guy would give me some crap so I could kill him.
Yes, that's exactly and that is the essence. That is at the heart of racism.
And of the coverage it's gotten, because he was promoting some new movie, Cold Pursuit. Cold Pursuit.
Is that the follow-up to Hot Pursuit?
In Cold Pursuit, where he plays a
guy.
Well, it's trying to get revenge.
A guy trying to beat up some black bastard.
Pretty much, yeah. In it, we do have I don't think we have a clip, but I have some of the transcripts. He says, I've got a very unique skill set. They should just write that into every damn movie. It doesn't matter if he's doing a romantic comedy. And he's like, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me for dinner.
I've got a unique set of skills.
Right, exactly. That's what it is,
Come on in. I've heard you have I do.
They're at dinner, and he's like this. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for having dinner with me.
You're welcome.
It was great that you accepted, and we'll both have the shrimp.
I don't like shrimp.
And then she'll have the fish.
I don't like fish either.
She'll have the sausage.
I do.
Trust
I like
me.
sausage.
Of course you do. I have a unique set of skills, a unique skill set that has specifically to do with sausage. Mm-hmm. Listen to me carefully. Mm-hmm. You're going to be taken soon.
Not sure I like where this is going.
And then they wrap it up with, some little joke, and then they get back to the house, and he takes her with his unique set of skills.
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
Do it. It could be a space movie. He could be like make an appearance in the next Star Wars.
Can you fix it? I can. I have a unique set of
skills. Doesn't matter what it is.
But
he could be playing a B part as a barber, and someone's like, I got to get this done. My hair looks like hell.
I could do it. I have
a unique. But he's got to say it the same way.
Yes.
I have a unique skill set that can fix that hair. You're going to be taken soon. Wait, what? I just wanted a little off the top. That's what I'm talking about. There'll be a little off the top.
There's going to be a lot off the top.
Put the closed sign on the door.
Just
let me adjust the chair. You'll feel a slight pinch, and then it'll all be over.
You're going to feel a little prick.
Yeah, he's promoting Cold Pursuit. When the reporter found out about, he said when he found out about the rape after returning home from abroad.
Hey, I see how it's a woman.
Exactly. He didn't specify who had been attacked, but said there's something primal. God forbid you ever have to deal with something like this or ever have a family member hurt under criminal conditions. She handled the situation of the rape in the most extraordinary way, he said. I asked, did she know who it was? No. What color were they? She said the person was black. So he actually managed to trump his racism with a little additional racism because he said, what color were they? He didn't say, can you give me a description?
What they look like, how tall were they, right?
He didn't ask how tall. He didn't ask what they were wearing. He said, what color were they?
Mm-hmm.
Race.
You know, he's just going to come out and say that he was in character when he was doing the interviews, if anybody ever calls him.
Of course. And I believe it's true. Listen, if there's one thing I know about Hollywood, if there's one thing I know about progressives, they are, if nothing else, hypocrites. This is who they are. This is what's so maddening. This is what's infuriating, is that they are hypocritical about this stuff.
If he had said it in blackface, that may have been a problem. He probably would have had the entire left come out against him. Just
Amos,
we don't want.
Amos, I got a unique set of skills. I got a unique skill set, Amos. That's an Amos and Andy reference, a step and fetch it type characters.
Yeah, it would. If he had done that, he may have stepped in it. This,
Mammy, I've got a unique skill set. Al Jolson in blackface.
Sounded a little like, "Hey, compa, it's."
Yeah,
you never get me in here, compa.
Yeah, but again, he will be held to a different standard because he is the progressive. And you know what his other out will be? His other out will be, well, that just shows how that even I can be racist. It shows that we have a bigger problem. And we just need more government to solve all of the issues and ills of the world.
I did it to teach you a lesson. See what it's,
That's right.
Like.
Kids, do as I do. Do as I say, not as I do.
By the way, you're driving everyone crazy with your pronunciation of his name.
Liam Neeson.
No, it's look at that last letter.
Liam Neeson.
Look at the last letter of his last name.
I don't have it in front of me. There's one part of being a jackhole that would have somebody purposely do something to trigger people. Moving forward.
He's forever. He's going to have to change his name.
Liam. All right. So what is it now?
Liam Neeson.
One more time. Slay it slow.
Liam.
Okay.
Neeson.
Liam Neeson. Got it.
That's
Liam Neeson.
Exactly.
Got it.
That's it.
Perfect.
Perfect. You did it exactly right. Just saying.
Wait, 1, 2.
Oh, yeah, they'll be right here.
All right, other comments via social media. Get them into us. If deemed worthy by the guy who's, we got a new guy spinning the dials,
He's
radio's
not
dial
new.
today. He'll put you at the
just-
end of the show close.
That's Ron. That's Ron. That's
He's
just-
back?
He never went anywhere.
I'm back.
He's back.
Ron, don't encourage him.
Di, what do you got for me?
Cold Pursuit should be a Dukes of Hazzard sequel where Roscoe P. Coltrane finally catches Bo and Luke dead to rights. Does anyone remember Dukes of Hazzard?
Bo, Luke. I got a unique set of skills. Is that what he used to do?
Pickled squirrels getting all existential. We're headed towards a time of idiocracy and the precogs, from Minority Report. Giant meteor. This way, giant meteor. It's not the giant meteor that's going to save us, pickled squirrel. It's Mars or Yellowstone.
The meteor might do it.
We're not going to get hit by it. That's stupid. There's not going to be a meteor that hits us. It's going to be an attack from Mars or Yellowstone erupting.
Plague.
We've eliminated all the plagues. All the plagues are over. It's going to be Mars. It's an attack from Mars. It is Yellowstone erupting. Those are our two choices. Take your pick. One or the other.
Darn it. I just, something about that triggered me. I had a dream last night about Shannon Bream. Why do I always end up dreaming about Shannon Bream? She's always in these bizarre dreams of mine.
I have no doubt.
And by the way, they're never sexual.
You didn't have to tell us that. We knew.
Yeah, I had the one. Do you remember the famous dream I had where she and I are hanging at a bar just chatting, and Hitler walked in?
The famous dream?
Oh, yeah, I talked about it on the air. The Jackholes may remember years ago. And then I had another we talked about.
Hitler walked in?
He did.
He couldn't drink, though.
No, because he was a mean drunk. We know that.
Yes.
And we're like, it's Hitler at the end of the bar. I don't mean somebody in Hitler garb. I mean, it was Hitler. Somehow we were transported, to 1941. It's crazy. And I can't remember what it was last night. Something just triggered me. I don't think I can come up with it.
You've got to stop eating pizza before you go to sleep.
Maybe it was the night before last. Reason I can't remember it. Anyway, I got a text message from her about some happenings and going-ons. And I was like, hey, I've been talking to you forever. We got this new little platform. She's like, yeah, I've been following it. I got to hear more about it. What are you guys doing? So I'm like, all right, we'll chat when I get a chance here. So I'm going to see if I think she still lives in D.C. and does the Fox show from D.C. So we should try to hook up with her if we end up at CPAC.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea. Let's see here. Over on the Facebook, Karen says Liam Neeson is a good action movie actor, but it's truly great actor that can play any role.
That's true. Liam Neeson is... I'm sorry, Neeson. Sorry. Liam Neeson is, and I'm trying to learn here, guys, so, I'm correcting my ways.
And Kevin says the only way Nancy Pelosi could ever be hot if she became a victim of spontaneous human combustion.
Do you remember that thing? Do you remember when they claimed that was a thing back in the day?
What do you mean claimed?
Well, back in the day, that was more of a forefront, more on the forefront of conspiracy theories. But you don't hear much about that. I remember watching the programs and what was the show Robert Stack did?
Unsolved Mysteries.
That's the one. And he would be like, all they found was a pile of ashes.
That's happened. Please. Have you ever seen the evidence? Have you ever investigated?
Why is there not one filmed example of somebody spontaneously combusting?
For the same reason there's not it would have to be a terribly, terribly convenient video. Because it happens spontaneously.
We have videos of everything that happens now.
Right.
So where is it?
Are you suggesting Jussie Smollett was lying? Huh? We have videos of everything? Huh?
All right, let's just move on. Move on.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. MoJo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump may use tonight's State of the Union speech to reveal plans for resolving the standoff over border wall funding.
Over the past few days, the president has been teasing that he could drop a big announcement in tonight's speech about his plans regarding a long-promised border wall. He has suggested that he might make news on his threat to declare a national emergency to circumvent Congress. The dispute with Democrats over the wall led to a 35-day partial government shutdown and also delayed the State of the Union by 1 week.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston, the president, to deliver his speech tonight at 9 Eastern. As doubts grow over the political future of Virginia's Democratic governor, attention turns to the state's lieutenant governor.
As Virginia's lieutenant governor, Justin Fairfax, is next in line if current embattled Governor Ralph Northam steps down. But the 39-year-old African-American Democrat is facing a battle of his own. He's strongly denying an allegation of sexual assault that was initially circulated on a conservative website.
The fact that they would run a story on an uncorroborated allegation from now 15 years ago tells you exactly what the smear is all about.
The Washington Post says that it was approached by a woman back in 2017, carefully investigated but never published the accusation. I'm Matt Small.
Virginia State Police mourning the loss of one of their own, a trooper shot and killed in the line of duty. It happened last night as a search warrant was being executed, part of a drug investigation near Farmville, South Central Virginia. Authorities holding a 40-year-old woman in connection with the Paris apartment building fire that killed 10 people. Investigators in the French capital say the woman lived in the building and threatened to torch the building before the fire broke out. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures up 99 points. S&P futures 6 points higher. NASDAQ futures up 27 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Universal truth number 14. Pain sucks. If you haven't yet tried Relief Factor, what are you waiting for? Go to relieffactor.com, get their 3-week quick start pack for just $20 and see if it helps your chronic pain. relieffactor.com.
One man. This is Stephen Airy with Defenders Live. One desire. Is that a Pablo Francisco skit? That reference is as old as Brad Staggs. All right, fine. Let's get it over with. I thought you might see it my way. He's here to give a defense of American exceptionalism. Arm yourselves, America. It's time for some offensive defense. Starring B-Rate Tom Cruise. Dude, I said that my name in the beginning. Pay attention. In an hour-long epic for the minds of this generation. Do not miss this. Defenders Live on MoJo 50. 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Live free. Yeah, what he said. MoJo 50, Defenders Live, 9 p.m. Monday through Friday.
While we run train on the progressive agenda, does she know she speaks straight? Didn't they get mad at Brett Kavanaugh over the whole run train thing?
They got mad at him for liking beer.
Brandon Morse, today at 1. MoJo 50.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American made and serve those who serve us, our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com, use promo code DOC, and get 15% off your purchase. That's neverforgottenapparel.com.
Rebel rousers, instigators, troublemakers, freaks, agitators, fanatics, scallywags, scamps, firebrands, rogues, scoundrels, MoJo sexuals. MoJo 50.
The mothership has landed.
Your Daily Mojo, Doc Thompson, Brad Staggs, and what's his name? Ron Phillips is back.
Same guy. He's never
this
left.
is a lesson for you. You leave here because you think there's greener pastures. You go try to work someplace else, and you realize it's pretty good here at the Mojo.
He didn't
Sure,
leave.
you don't make any money, but it's a lot more free.
He never left.
What are you talking about? He hasn't been here in like 4 months. He was here. What, he worked here a week, and then he was gone?
He never left.
All right, do you want, I'll give you your choice. Do you want to do this or that or the other thing to begin this hour? Because I've got 3 things. This, that, or the other thing.
The other thing is always good, and I throw caution to the wind. Let's do the other thing.
Okay, I got to shuffle this around because I was going to do this first.
Well, that just shows.
But I need to make sure.
You need
Okay,
some more
good.
practice, obviously.
All right, we'll do the other thing first. Ice. Are you familiar with ice?
I love it.
Keeps your drink cold.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's also ICE, that is a government agency, law enforcement agency, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They are force feeding at least 9 detainees who are on a hunger strike.
Force feeding them?
Yes. The Business Insider. You familiar with that? That's
yes, I am.
Insider is one word.
Oh.
I'm going to give you the Business Insider. They shared they wrote a story that was shared on AP of several men, 9 detainees. A very sad story about them suffering in custody. How their health is failing, how they're dragged down the halls. Sad, sad story. Some of them so weak that they can't even walk. And the government won't even give them wheelchairs.
Wow.
All because they're on a hunger strike. And the government's been forced to force feed them 3 times a day.
How are they,
the story says.
How do you
a 22-year-old Indian man on a hunger strike says he is dragged from his cell in a Texas immigration detention center, his feet scraping the floor as he goes. He's put on a bed where he said his arms and legs are strapped down, and a group of people force feed him by pouring liquids into tubes pushed through his nose. The man is among a group of 9 detainees in the El Paso facility who immigration officials acknowledged Friday are being hydrated and fed against their will under court orders. That's up from 6 men who are being fed through nasal tubes Wednesday.
That sounds nasty.
The man said, "They tie us on the forced feeding bed. And then they put a lot of liquids into the tubes, and the pressure is immense, so we end up vomiting it out." Speaking through an interpreter, the hunger striker, interviewed by the Associated Press, said he's lost 50 pounds since he began refusing food more than a month ago and coming to the United States, seeking asylum, of course.
Why is he striking? Why is he hunger striking? Because why?
Because they're detaining him.
Okay. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't want to eat,
what?
Don't make him eat.
Oh, what are you talking about?
If he doesn't want to eat, why are we forcing the guy to eat?
You know, I'm going to get this straight. A guy.
How's that cookie?
Was being. I'm sorry.
That cookie.
This story is really making me hungry.
It'll do that. You should try inhaling that through your nose. Just actually.
You think I haven't done that?
Put it in the APR coffee, grind it up, and then snort it. Why are we feeding them if they don't want to eat? Screw them.
What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. Let them.
This is such nonsense.
Of course it is.
Number one, how is that a concern of mine if you refuse to eat?
It's not. And that's why it's... They're damned if they do and damned if they don't in this case, because if they don't feed them, it's how can you be so heartless? If you do force feed them, it's how you're going against their will.
Right, and they write this as the U.S. is torturing them. They're not denying them food. Right. They're denying themselves food.
Right.
Here it is, folks. They died in custody of malnutrition. You weren't feeding them? No. Here is video footage 3 times a day over the last however many months of us putting food into his cell.
Yeah.
Here it is. There you go, Pete. If you need help, we'll help you. No, you don't want it? Well, I'm just going to leave this food right here in case you change your mind. Look at this. Nummy cookies from Edmund's Bakery can work for you. He has cookies that says eat the effing cookies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hunger strikes suck. Build the wall. Here it is. Here's yummy food. And when people bitch about it, how dare you? They died in your custody of malnutrition. No. They chose to die. Here's the food they didn't eat. We got to stop force feeding these people. Yes. Sorry. And it's not a concern of mine if you die because you won't eat. If you make that choice, that's on you.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the stupidest thing. I've never understood hunger strikes. Ever.
It worked for Gandhi.
Why? Why?
It brought attention to him.
Why? I still don't get it.
It does seem a bit counterproductive.
The only way hunger strikes work for Doc Thompson is if you put me on a hunger strike.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to get attention.
Right.
Doc, I'm going on a hunger strike. Oh, okay. Let me know how it works out for you. Doc, you're going on a hunger strike. F that. Hold on. This is getting serious now.
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
There are countries in the world where they will not feed you, where they do deny you food if you're in custody. Why doesn't the U.S. during a story like this get credit for that?
That wouldn't fit the story.
We are not detaining these people because we are evil or heartless, as evident by the fact that we actually give them food. The U.S. is successful with its representative republic style of government and our support of capitalism, yet we also have a lot of food, a lot of opportunity and money, great wealth by comparison, unlike Venezuela. Why don't we get credit on a very simple story like this for all of that? And Business Insider and AP, you should be ashamed of yourselves for this nonsense. Not that you would report on something like this. Fine, report on it.
Right.
The fact that you report on it 3 times a day, he's dragged from his cell, feet scraping along the way, strapped down to a bed, and force-fed food that he often regurgitates because of the great force by which they put it into his stomach. Stop it. It doesn't have to be like this. Pick up the effing cheeseburger and eat it.
How long did they say how long they've been doing it?
A month. Well, a couple of them just for a week, I think.
All right.
But there's one guy, a month. They call it cruel and inhumane and degrading.
They say you can survive for without food for 30 to 40 days as long as you're properly hydrated.
Yes, that is true. And he said he's lost 50 pounds, so he's probably about right there. Mm-hmm.
So he was a porker to start with. So,
well, not necessarily.
He lost 50 pounds. He had 50 pounds to lose?
We didn't say, and now he's down to his ideal weight. I mean, if you know what?
He's finally fitting in those 32-inch Levi's.
By that, you mean 24-inch. You could only be 98 pounds and still lose 50 pounds. I mean,
right.
Have you ever seen the pictures out of World War II in the concentration camps? I mean, this is true. But see, they would have you believe that's what the U.S. is doing.
Right.
That they're putting in some kind of concentration camps. How dare you people? You're violating your own journalistic principles. You're even really violating your own principles of progressivism.
But it doesn't even make any sense to...
What is their goal? Help people. Humanity. Human rights. Do you realize the reason we have ICE, the reason we have laws, the reason the government, and you support big government, has a border is to protect humans and human rights? That's the whole purpose. Why do they suppose we have this? It's just an imaginary line out there in the desert. That border. Why do we have that? Why? Because we're just jerks? Trying to deny people? Well, if that were the case, we wouldn't allow 1 million people to legally immigrate every year and have for decades. 100,000 of them from Mexico alone. Why? From around the world. Americans, even those people on the right, say, please come here, just be responsible, do things right, be a law-abiding citizen. We do it to protect people. The gays from having the extremist Muslims infiltrate and say, let's throw them all off buildings because them queers.
Right.
We do it to protect people from other parts of the world coming in and saying, you know what? Let's just cut up women's genitals because we believe in female genital mutilation. We protect people in America from all of the craziness, the crazy ideas and laws and culture from the rest of the world, terrorists from coming in and doing horrific things to Americans. And that's been lost in this entire debate about the wall and everything else. And they continue this nonsense. Americans in mass, the government, nobody supports these guys actually dying in custody. You would be hard-pressed to find anybody that is sane in America going, I want people to die. That's going to be rare. So stop with this nonsense. By the way, the first person convicted of an anti-female genital mutilation law in the UK was convicted, I think yesterday. The first person was convicted in the last couple of days.
Of performing it?
Yeah. It's a mom. It's the immigrants that have come in, and now the UK has this issue.
So the mother did it?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they have other people. She may have just been a part of it and had somebody else, but it's pretty horrific. It's pretty awful. Yeah. And these are the reasons that we support it. So, AP, Business Insider, you should be ashamed of yourself. Stop it. You're only hurting the world. You're hurting these gentlemen as well.
I don't understand who can look at that story and say how horrible ICE is for doing what they're doing. It flies in the face of common sense. If you are...
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't check I'm admitting a possible failure here. I didn't check to see what kind of food they were refusing.
Oh.
Because if they were trying to get him to eat hot and ready,
see,
maybe
that could have been
maybe it's they say it's a hunger strike, but maybe it's not a political hunger strike.
Maybe they just like the food.
Right. Maybe it's like, you want me to eat that? Well, nah.
But wait, isn't anything that they would get here better than the nasty country from which they are seeking asylum? I mean, that's...
Have you had hot and ready?
Still better than a plate of dirt.
I don't know.
It's better than
I don't know.
Is it better than a plate of dirt? You'd rather eat a plate of dirt than you would a piece of hot and ready.
Dude, this is...
Come on.
What kind of dirt?
Dirt. Just take your...
Like topsoil?
Yes, topsoil.
What part of the world?
Right out here in front. Right next to the parking lot.
Well, no, you can't say that because that's right on the banks of the beautiful
No,
MoJo
not
River.
on that
That's
side of the parking lot. The
spectacular
other
dirt.
side.
Oh.
Yeah. See?
It's a toss-up, Brad. I'm telling you, it's a toss-up. It's a difficult decision. All right, so that was the other. Do you want this or that now?
Let's do the other end of the spectrum. I want this.
You do want this?
I want this.
Update. It has a little bit to do with Jesse Smollett.
Smollett.
Hmm.
Jesse Smollett.
A little bit to do with that, and a little bit to do with the 2020 election for president of the United States. Cory Booker is now demanding that the House of Representatives, he's a senator, by the way, but he's demanding that the House of Representatives, Cory Booker is a senator in one half of Congress. He's demanding that the House of Representatives, the other side that he's not part of.
Spartacus commands that
He's demanding,
he has that power.
as 1/100th of one half of 1/3 of the government. He's demanding that the House pass a bill in response to Jesse Smollett.
What's the bill?
Take a stab.
It's not going to make
you
me
wanna?
happy. It's got to be a hate crime thing.
Yes. It's an anti-lynching bill. You gotta wait. What are you thinking right there? Yeah, go. What do you got?
It's already illegal.
What? I'm sorry. What's that?
It's already illegal.
Are you sure you cannot lynch people? Even black people?
Even black people.
You're telling me that I, as a white person, can't just go out and lynch a black person?
You cannot.
Well,
no.
Since when?
Oh, maybe the Irish, but
That's
no
all
one
different
else.
then.
Yeah.
Since when?
Since
like Tuesday. When did this pass?
Since forever. You cannot. It is against the law to kill somebody.
So we already have a law against it.
Yes, we do.
So what would his anti-lynching bill do? Let me read the story. I'll scroll
Waste
down.
time is all it would
Representatives
do.
to pass. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, it would designate lynching a hate crime. A federal hate crime.
And does that get you something special at the end of
It does.
What?
It puts you in trouble with the feds now. So it's not just a state issue.
Right.
So let me help you out what this does. This is what's called double jeopardy. If this were to pass, if the House of Representatives would go, whoa, Senator Spartacus calling on us, demanding we pass this, and they do, and it would actually be signed by the president, and it would lynching would become a federal hate crime, and Bradley J. Staggs were to just roll out one night and lynch him, a black man.
Right.
And they come and arrest him in the state of Texas. The state of Texas says, we're going to put you on trial for murder.
Right.
The federal government would be able to try you as well, separately. And it doesn't matter what happens in that murder trial, the federal government could charge you with a federal hate crime and charge you for that, and prosecute you for that. It's called double jeopardy. It's an end around. This is what happens. This happened when it came to the, do you remember back in the 90s, Rodney King?
Yeah.
The police officers that clubbed Rodney King, and they were tried at the local level,
right?
And they were acquitted,
right? Which started the LA riots.
And then the federal government said, "Oh, we got to do something here, hate crime," and they charged them at the federal level with a civil rights violation, and they convicted them. It was double jeopardy.
Is that is that the basis of all civil lawsuits now? Is that what OJ was popped under then?
You mean the most recent one?
No, when he was when Ronald Goldman being the only.
No, that's civil. See, there's the difference. So you have criminal where the state comes traditionally. Forget the feds for a moment. They come in. They go, all right, Brad, you murdered, what's the guy behind the glasses name?
That's Ron.
Ron, you murdered Ron.
I didn't murder Ron.
You murder Ron, and the feds or the local government, the state, tries you, and either you get convicted or not, regardless. Then the family, or if it wasn't an outright murder assault, they could charge you civilly.
Being responsible for the death.
Right, and that comes down to you've got to pay us for the loss of his services and for our personal loss. It's not a criminal, it's a person-to-person. It's like suing somebody because their driveway is on your property or anything like this. You're civilly, you're infringing upon their rights, and it's not a criminal statute. The federal government is an additional criminal statute.
Okay, so that would be on top of everything else.
Right. So, for example, if you do something on federal property, like you burn down I'm trying to think of a better example, some sort of crime that is already a federal crime. Like, okay, something like
Oklahoma
transporting drugs into the country.
Okay.
Something like that. That's a federal crime, and the feds try you with something like that.
Right.
This is them elevating something that you would do that should be and already is a criminal violation at the federal level. It does not take the place of it because they're not saying murder. They're saying a hate crime, and you're violating their civil rights. But the penalties are pretty severe. So regardless of what happens at the state level, but especially if you get acquitted, they can come in and try you again. It's horrible. Now, for those of you that remember Rodney King, let me give you a quick update or a quick walk down memory lane and tell you how this all rolled out and what should have happened.
The update is he's still dead.
He's still dead. But not because of that.
Right.
If you don't know Rodney King in the 90s and the Reginald Denny case and all that stuff, you should look it up. It's pretty fascinating. I guess there is a little bit of an update on it, too. When Rodney King was clubbed in the street, clearly they treated him improperly. I get it. The officers had numerous encounters with Rodney King, and he was resisting. And to give the guy the business a little bit, hold him down, shove him in the car, a couple of kidney punches, I'll give you that, okay?
Right.
They were outright clubbing the guy, even though, and I know he was still resisting, they crossed the line. I would not, I would have convicted them of crossing the line, whatever the official charge was. The sentence would not be, you guys are no longer cops and you're going to prison. It would have been, guys, you crossed the line. There was some police brutality there, some retraining. Maybe you get reduced in salary and rank, this type of thing. Learn from your mistake and let's move on. It happens again. Now we got some trouble. But if it was a decent officer, that's what should have happened. So they should have been convicted of something, of going too far with the beating. They were not, though. They were tried by a jury of their peers, and they should have been no harm, no foul. But the black folk rioted because they thought it was a civil rights violation. It had nothing to do with that. They thought it was, well, he's black, and it doesn't. They were pissed off. Instead of being reasonable and saying the cops crossed the line, and this was not, let's go lynch us a black man, that's not what was happening there. So then the feds come in and say, no, so I'm telling you what happened. They're wrong. He was wrong to push it. The cops went a little too far.
Right.
I don't agree with the verdict, but it was legit. We should have moved on. The feds come in and say, we got to clean this up because they're burning the bitch down. All right. We're going to try him on civil rights violation, a trumped-up charge that they got convicted of. There should have been no trial. The civil rights violation, why? Because he happened to be black? That had nothing to do with it. So you had wrong. The feds tried to correct wrongs with even more wrongs, and that's what ended up happening. Now, there was another little case, the Reginald Denny case along the way. Reginald Denny, during the riots, after the original trial, truck driver through L.A., a group of, I think it was 4 black youths, pulled him out of his truck, beat the snot out of him, picked up a chunk of cement and brought it down on his head, causing him to almost die and to suffer lasting brain damage. Severely impaired.
He used to frequent a friend of mine's shop, and they said after that he was not ever the same.
They gave him brain damage. They tried them locally. They were acquitted.
Because?
It's on videotape of them doing it. That's it. Done. You did it. There's no extenuating circumstances to this. Did you do this? So another wrong perpetrated that, by the way, did have to do with race. They pulled him out of that truck and brought that down on his head because he was white, and they were pissed off about the conviction, claiming it was about race. It was not. Wrong, wrong, wrong every step of the way. And then that case, which really came down to race, and they let those mofos off.
Can you imagine if they had convicted them, though?
Who cares? Wrong is wrong and right is right.
I agree with you, but
and Cory Booker is outrageous to even suggest this, but to demand it from the House of Representatives, this is another great wrong, folks. What you have here is Cory Booker pushing an unnecessary, racist law that will not do any good for the purpose of his 2020 election.
This is an example of what happens when you don't learn from history. This is an example of why this is the argument for the Confederate statues staying in place.
I don't even know if adaptogens will help me, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Where are they?
They may be right here. How bad do you want them?
Where's that chunk of cement? Where's that chunk of cement? I'm going to pull you out of that car, out of that chair. And
I'm taking a little squirt first.
Well, don't get your stuff on it.
I didn't touch it. It's drippy.
Give me, explain what it is.
Oh, now I have to talk.
Yeah.
The adaptogens from the Rich Solution are a way to, and by the way, Doc obviously needs this today. They're a way to get these, the adaptogens are a blend of herbs, not necessarily spices, but herbs that promote calm and well-being, balance in your life.
How fast does it work?
You should be feeling it now. You feel it now?
I do.
You have to take it for a while.
It might just be the pleasant taste.
But I've been taking these for what? At least a month and a half.
I've been taking it for 2 months.
Maybe 2.5 months on my part.
Try them at The Rich Solution. In fact, there's a lot of supplements that'll help better your life at therichsolution.com.
I'm calm. See how balanced I am? Watch this.
I feel pretty good. Might just be the pleasant taste.
Adjust your mojo now. Thank you.
By the Numbers with Andrew Coppins is powered by TarRiverArms.com. They've revolutionized online firearm sales with high-resolution pictures, 3D imaging, and the best prices. How much will you save? Find out at TarRiverArms.com. That's TarRiverArms.com.
Tonight is the annual State of the Union address, a requirement under Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution. Every corner of the political world will analyze, parse, and harp on what Trump says and how he says it. But we're here to have a bit of fun ahead of this oddly king-like tradition, so let's dig into some fun numbers about this speech. First is this number, 2, as in only twice since 1964 has a president chosen a written address to the nation. The presidents that did it were Richard Nixon and Jimmy Carter. Nixon's 1973 written address was also one of the strangest in history, as he delivered a series of 6 different written addresses. There was an overview speech and 5 policy-specific addresses that were submitted in writing, but also done as radio addresses to the nation. The last time a president didn't deliver a speech to Congress was in 1981, as Carter submitted a written speech on January 16th, just ahead of the transition to new President Ronald Reagan. It also holds the record for most written words at 33,667. One trend that has become troubling is the length of these speeches to Congress. The longest average during the presidency goes to Bill Clinton, whose average was 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 51 seconds. In fact, Clinton is the only president to spend over an hour delivering this speech for his entire tenure as president. He also holds the record for longest in-person speech in history, delivering his 1995 speech in a whopping 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 58 seconds. That same speech is also the longest in terms of words for a spoken address at 9,190 words. As for our current president, Trump has loved the long speeches too, going for over an hour in each of his first 2 addresses to Congress, including a 1 hour, 20 minute, and 32 second whopper last year. Let's all hope that upward trend doesn't continue tonight. This has been By the Numbers. I'm Andrew Coppins, and you can follow me on Twitter at The Coppins Show.
The Daily Mojo.
Comments coming in now all across social media. And Brad Staggs would be sharing those with you if he hadn't stuffed his mouth full of whatever he stuffed it full of.
I'm kind of busy. right now. Let's see here.
And by the way, if you don't like us eating on the air, you can thank Lori D for that.
No, this is who brought the donut holes?
That was me.
Damn, no, it wasn't. Smirking Duck. Hey, Corey. I know, right?
I know. I bring him donut holes, and the guy's treating me that way.
Murder is already illegal, so is hitting people? Yes. We know.
I know, right? Who knew?
What am I reading? It's like a mouthful. Don't you have anything to say?
Nope.
Look at Cookie Sleeve. Keep in mind, Rodney King was high on cocaine, so his resisting arrest was more dangerous than you might think.
No, you're right.
No,
I'm
absolutely.
not, folks, and let me just, we tried this over and over. You're right. He was wrong. And I understand why the cops did what they did. They did at some point, if you watch the video, they were clubbing his ass.
They needed to stop at some point.
Right, exactly.
I mean, the point was made.
Yes, exactly. Now,
he was incapacitated.
How far over the line they went, that can be debated. But at some point, they did cross. I'm not saying to the point of murder, and they should be. I'm just saying they should be punished somehow. They did take it a bit too far.
When somebody's high on cocaine, they've got more strength than the average human, and it took a long time for him to go down.
Do you remember Casey Jones, high on cocaine, driving that train? Damn,
better watch your
rough.
speed.
Any others?
Right? Let's just keep debating this one. Smirking Jackhole says, I'm pretty sure murdering real Ron Phillips, or whatever his name is, may only be a misdemeanor, which would only be a $20 fine.
Oh.
Same as downtown.
That's all right, then. Hey, that lovely feminine voice you're hearing is Crystal. Hey, Crystal, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
It's good to see you again, by the way.
We've
you guys are tall.
Last time we saw Crystal, it was in Vegas, and we never got up. We were both sitting down.
I want to clarify that.
Last time we saw
Crystal, it was in Vegas.
I don't think that needs any explanation.
It was 3 in the morning.
There's no judgment.
It was the free show at the Lamplighter Inn. Just down the road.
I thought it was the Flamingo.
It was the Stick It In.
Hey.
She was on the stage.
Wow.
Yeah. Try walking into some place and say, I would like to buy some. Can I say whatever I want on the show? Before I say
pretty close. If you have to ask, that's making me a little alarmed. But yeah, pretty close to whatever you want.
So go into Fredericks of Hollywood. Go to buy some thong underwear. The lady says, "Are you a dancer?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love to dance." And she said, "Oh, well, where do you dance?" And I said, Post Oak Ranch, here, there. She goes, "Oh, what? You strip there?" And I went, "Strip? No, I'm not a stripper."
How dare you?
I just dance. I like to dance. And she said, and she says, "What's your name?" And I went, "I'm just going to skip that part."
Crystal kind of works for a dancer's name. I'm just right there.
I was like, when I tell her my name, she is totally not going to believe that I'm not a dancer.
And no one believes that her middle name is Bambi.
I'll tell you what.
I know, nobody. It's just, it's ridiculous.
I'm Crystal Bambi.
I'm Crystal
And her
Bambi.
last name, Loveless. So, Crystal Bambi Loveless.
Crystal does Dallas. Wait, what? Where am I?
So,
hold on.
I'll tell you what, I consider that a badge of honor. If you walk in and she's like, "You're a dancer, right?"
I know.
You got it
Slam
going
the little
on.
body.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, at 25, come on.
I know, right? See, you may lose that another 30, 40 years, but, while you have it at 25, right?
Yeah.
How tall are you, Crystal?
5.
5? Even 5? Good things come in small packages, I'm telling you.
Is that the quote from Dominic? Let's just move on. Crystal is the executive director of
And now I'm
Wheelchairs
all
for
grown up and have a
Warriors.
professional job.
When she's not stripping,
When I'm not
she
stripping.
runs the Wheelchairs for Warriors. And
I
you
am
can check
still
it out.
trying to get money out of men, though. I will say that. I mean,
You should try stripping.
I should try stripping.
That's the easiest way to get money out of men.
I make more money for my nonprofit.
I tell you, that will separate men from their money faster than
This went
anything I've
south
seen.
in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's something about you. By the way,
I know she probably says that to everybody, but I think this time's
Did I
different.
just say that
She really
while we were
knows it.
talking about stripping? Oh, my God.
She probably says
I've
it to
gotta
everybody,
go.
but I
It was
can
really
tell
nice
there's
meeting
something.
everyone.
She smiles at me a little bit more than the other guys. I think I have a shot.
You have become a favorite with the Jackholes, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they love you.
Several people.
They loved you in Vegas. Well, you're actually from Texas. We met you in
Yes.
Vegas as you were a part of SHOT Show. But
I'm
you're
from this area.
I thought you were from Houston area.
Hillsboro. I was born and raised on a farm in Hillsboro, Texas.
Oh, okay.
I
But
wasn't
you
born
live
on the
now
farm.
down by Houston, right?
Yes, I'm down south now.
Okay. But you're up visiting for a couple of days. And we said, hey, let's.
I'll just be over here like this
I
the
know.
whole time.
We should have just done a 30-second preempted bell ringing and moved on.
Yeah.
But since you're down, we said, hey, why don't you stop up? We'll have you in studio.
Yes, that's what happened.
Stop up.
We're
We'll have you in studio.
We don't even know.
Stop
We're-
up. We'll have you right
we're trying
here.
to all watch our words now, right?
Wheelchairs for Warriors. Why don't
Let's
you
just talk about
explain
that.
what that is?
So the history is I was supposed to go into the Navy. That was the family plan. Yes, that's a sticker.
I'm trying to get it off.
And then you can stick it on your computer.
Wow.
It could be really. It could. Oh, I know. I know. That's what he said.
Pay no attention to him.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Pay no attention to him.
So, I, let a boy talk me out of going into the military and serving.
Was he a cute boy?
He was super cute. And it was
Put it
a
over your
family
hole.
plan.
And what happened?
Focus.
I'm not putting it over my hole.
The hole in your computer so people can see it.
It won't stick. There's nothing there.
Anyways, yeah, so a boy talked you out of it.
So a boy talked me out of it, and my whole family's military. We've been in every war since the beginning of time. So
You
my
guys got
only
some
regret-
anger issues.
We have
That's what
some
I'm thinking.
anger issues in the Larimore family. So that was my only regret in life was I didn't do that stint with the Navy.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go on the buddy program with a girlfriend, and I just waved at her as she. Stop.
What? I didn't say anything. It's really hard, but I'm not saying anything.
Where's the bell?
Here. Right there. You get it?
I'm trying to be on my best behavior. So from now, we all just keep moving forward.
Do
Don't
I have
look
to
back.
separate the two of you?
Let's just keep
I don't
walking.
even know what's going
the
on.
two of us.
If I
Okay.
have to stop
okay.
this
Two of
car.
us.
Fine.
I need to sit in between y'all.
We're going to keep moving forward. You and the girl buddy, you waved to her as she deployed.
Goes off, and then I
she
have,
went off.
So
Got it.
anyway, off she went. So it came about that I had an opportunity to go to Baghdad. And I said, y'all have all lost your minds. So anyway.
Baghdad for?
To go to Baghdad, Iraq to help stand up the U.S. Embassy with the State Department.
Okay.
So
State Department employee.
State Department contract, And I had said no until the money was right. And I didn't know that the money would get better. I had just said no. And then it's a point where you're going, okay, well, I can solve two issues. I can make a ton of money. I can get rid of that guilt trip I have of not serving my country. Off I go. And my uncle, who retired as a full bird colonel, was like, oh, that's not happening. You're not. No, it's not happening. Anyway, one thing led to another. Off I went without any blessing from the family because it was kind of a war zone.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back, I wanted to continue that service to the military, to my country. I really wanted to continue that in some way. And I shadowed a couple of different organizations that are nonprofits, and they're big names. And it's amazing how many of them out there are either A, unorganized, or B, corrupt.
Yep. No, honestly, and we shouldn't just gloss over that. I've had a lot of problems with charities since I can remember, since a teenager. My father used to get, and I'm not even going to call them out, you can do your own research, in his paycheck, a little, please donate because the company, on your payday, please donate a little bit because the company wants you to donate. After you've earned this money, and then they're going to hit you up in your paycheck. It was infuriating when I used to see this. And then I found out about that organization, and they had into the 80 percentile overhead, administrative rate. 80%. And we've got to pay these different directors this much because to get them, they could make 7 times as much in the. Well, let them go do that in the private sector. So over the years, I hear about all these other organizations. A lot of them that the names. In fact, if you know the names, like it's one of those big national ones, their overhead is usually outrageous.
Well, I will say that I'm going to have a T-shirt made that's going to say WWJD, not WWP.
Yeah.
W for W. We're going to, Wounded Warrior Project, I'll say that one out loud. But there are many others that are very well known that are still mismanaged and still are not, what I would want to have my name attached to.
I've done work with them and found out later. You're with them and you see all of this good and supposedly they're being wise with the money, and then you get privy to information and it's like you feel duped.
Yeah.
I've had to stop working with some charities because of that. In fact, one of the ones that, and I still promote it from time to time, is Matthew 25 Ministries out of Blue Ash, Ohio, at Cincinnati area. By charter, they cannot go over 2% administrative costs. Last I talked to them a couple years ago, they had never broached one. And they send out several semi-truckloads of goods to somewhere in the world every day of the year. And it's almost all voluntary. They're amazing people. So Matthew 25 Ministries. So that's a concern of you for Wheelchairs for Warriors.
Yeah. So we, our goal is to keep administrative costs below 20%. 15 as low as we can go. I've been working for the organization for 2 years. I quit my political consulting because I was raising money for rat bastards. Can I say that on the air?
Sure.
Okay, so I was raising money for them, and I thought I have to stop. I've really got to focus on wheelchairs for warriors. I've got to find a time.
Because you're doing good there too.
Because I know I'm doing good. I know that my efforts, I will be, Mama's got to get a paycheck one day, right?
Exactly. And listen, there are going to be some administrative costs.
There
this is
are
true.
going to be some.
That's the balance.
This is not a little bit of work. It's at least 30 to 40 hours a week. And when we go to places like SHOT Show in Vegas, that's all day, every day. That's a 80-hour work week right there. But we have a really good board. My Director of Partner Relations is an Army veteran. We have a U.S. Secret Service agent on our board. We have some high-level executives within Insperity. It's an international corporation. They're really good people. They're well-known for giving back. We have Dan Pastorini is a former Oiler quarterback. Dan. He's being inducted into the Houston Hall of Fame.
He's being abducted?
Yes, tomorrow. He loves it.
Awesome.
And he's an honorary board member. And so we have a very kind of diverse board, and we're doing really, really good stuff. Krista's Family Health Plan is right here. They just sponsored a chair.
Well, explain a little bit more specifically of what wheelchairsforwarriors.com does.
Okay. So what we do is we provide veterans injured in the line of duty. It is our only criteria. You have to be injured in the line of duty. So veterans injured in the line of duty, no matter what war you served in, so it could be Vietnam or two. Nobody's alive from two.
There's a handful. There's still a handful of World War II.
A lot of it right now is Operation Iraqi Freedom, which I was a part of, and Desert Storm. But we will help you get a wheelchair, a secondary wheelchair. We don't care if you got a wheelchair from the VA. Chances are you're going to get one every 5 years. Listen to me, if they've given you one. We just gave a veteran a wheelchair who lost his right leg, shattered his left arm, and the VA gave him a 45-pound, 50-pound wheelchair and a pair of crutches.
That seems ineffective.
It's very ineffective. You can't. These guys are on mission, right? They're in a war zone. They're with their band of brothers. They're on mission. They're on assignment. They come back, and what? So our job, what we want to do, is get them back in the mission as soon as possible. Back to being active, back to being part of something.
These are guys that want to do for themselves. Right. So they just want the tools necessary so they can take care of themselves. They're not, in fact, most of them abhor the thought of somebody taking care of them.
It's one of the most ridiculous things ever. I can go to an event that is a military sponsored event, and I can see 25 men who need a better wheelchair.
Right.
Injured in the line of duty, need a better wheelchair. But to get them to go online and apply and raise their hand and say, I need help. So if you have a buddy, or if you know someone, either go apply for them or talk them into applying at wheelchairsforwarriors.com, and there's an apply button, and you can apply for a wheelchair.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. Because listen, our veterans, we know they're taught to make do.
Right.
They're taught.
Yeah.
Look, here's the equipment you've got. You need to make do. And so they do. They continue to make do, and they always feel like somebody needs it more than they do when they're really struggling. We had a guy that was a Green Beret who was shot in the head by a pecan round. It's like a huge bullet. And it goes through his helmet, hits his head, his skull fragments shatter into his brain, gives him right side paralysis.
Right.
By the time we got to him in California, he had a power chair that had been down for 3 years.
Right.
He hadn't been able to use his power chair, but the VA was like, well, it's only 3 years old. So can't give you another one yet. So he's scooting around with his good side in a wheelchair like this because the leg thing was gone. The arm rest was gone. He was in such bad shape. And this guy was a bad mofo.
Right.
He was just your regular old average badass, Green Beret. And that, we couldn't believe it. And within a month, he had a power wheelchair that can stand him completely up. Mm-hmm. He can look at you eye to eye, tall dude, He can get his own stuff out of the cabinet. Right. He can go outside of his house.
Simple things that
Yeah.
the rest of us take for
He
granted.
can lay flat. The wheelchair will lay him completely flat so he can have pressure relief. He had pressure sores by the time we got to him.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so where can people help donate and help out? Spread the word about Warriors wheelchairs for Warriors.com.
Easy for you to say.
You've been drinking
That
again,
was
haven't
rough.
you,
That was
Doc?
rough.
Yeah.
That was.
Wow.
Wheelchairsforwarriors.com. And the other way too that you can help is you can go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, share our information.
We love it.
We love it. Go to Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram. Instagram is amazing. You can have a fundraiser on Facebook for your birthday. You can, or anytime.
That's awesome.
You can always just host a fundraiser for us.
So I believe Chef Patrick is going to speak with you on Spoonie on his broadcast later this afternoon about some of your other backgrounds in the food service and restaurant industry. So that ought to be fun as well.
That'll be fun.
All right. Sounds good. Crystal, thanks so much. And again, on Twitter, it's at Chairs for Warriors, or you go to wheelchairsforwarriors.com, and it's not the number 4. It's actually all written out.
It's all written out.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate
thanks,
it.
guys.
All right. So what, do we get something else?
I was just saying, they said, tell me to stop staring at breasts.
Yeah, you can only read her shirt so many times before you're not reading and
Does
you're
anybody even know what it says?
Amor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
at least you really were reading.
Okay, very good. So we one of the reasons we want to have Crystal on and talk about this stuff is to help people. You know, that's something we're committed to doing, and we usually try to help people promote their business in that as well. And as we mentioned, there's some jobs that are coming up with Walmart. I told you they're going to be hiring a boatload of truck drivers at really good pay. I think almost $90,000 a year this year. What is it, like hundreds more jobs? And they hired, I think, 1,000 last year.
Almost more than I make here.
A lot more, because you make nothing. So there you go. But I have a list of the fastest growing jobs by state. And these are really fascinating. Now, these are the fastest growing, so that's a little misleading.
Okay.
I mean, you could grow from there was one job and now there's 5. That's a huge growth rate.
Right. Yeah, it's 500% growth.
Right. Woo. Meanwhile, there could be 50 million of those jobs, and you increase by 1, and you're like, well, that's not much of a growth rate, right? Or you stay flat. Yeah. But it still does give you an idea of where you could look for a job.
Sure.
Jobs of the future, and kind of where we've progressed to. So we'll go by state. There's a bunch of states that have solar panel installer as one of the fastest growing. Now, again, fastest growing is a little misleading, but
sounds like the early 90s.
The solar panels, folks, solar energy is fantastic.
You just need a lot.
You need a lot of panels. And we're still on that balance of the expense of the panels versus what you get.
Right.
There are 2 types of solar energy for your house. Solar energy panels that go directly into your house that hey, I got electricity coming in, we're using it as it comes in, or still in some cases it'll spin your dial back.
Right.
Your meter back.
Yeah.
The other system is a battery. So the same thing happens, but you store the energy for later. The battery system is much more expensive and is kind of cost prohibitive. If you go right to solar panels, the amount of energy you get in a relatively sunny climate is about enough to pay for the panels over the life of the panels, because the panels don't last 30 years. They last 10 to 15 at most.
Right. So if you're going to stay in the house for that long, that's great.
Right. So it's right there. Is it worth it for you? It'll probably balance out. So what you would have paid in electricity from the electric company, you save by having the solar panels, but you paid for the price of the panels. So if they can up the efficiency by 20, 30, 50%, win, go, put them on your house. Now, the other advantage is you get to live green if you're into that.
Sure.
Or live off the grid, or have power when it goes out, which I'm into. So
can't really
you got to
live
weigh the
off
benefit.
the grid with that because
it helps. It's one step. You still got to have sewer and all the other stuff, whatever. But anyway, it's right there. The states where solar panel installer is growing: California, New Mexico. Let's see here, Minnesota.
What? Minnesota?
Yeah, Minnesota.
They don't get enough sun for that.
And let's see here, other states: Florida and North Carolina. What do you mean they don't get enough?
There's not enough sun up there.
Actually, that area part of the country gets quite a bit of sun.
What is it today?
I don't know.
Cloudy and cold.
As you get more over into the Great Lakes region, then it gets a little tricky. Oh, Missouri also.
They have sun in Missouri?
A little bit, yeah.
Huh.
Definitely down south. All right, mobile home installer and repair, maintenance and repair.
Okay.
Washington State, womp womp. Texas. Texas a different. Where's the mobile home installer?
I've often said I could live in a mobile home next to a river. I mean, if I could plop one down out.
Oh, no, that's different, though.
Next to the bank of the MoJo River.
But don't call it a mobile, and then call it a small home, and it'll market better.
Tiny home's different.
All right, I know, but it still markets better.
Okay.
Wind turbine service technician.
One of these things is not like the other.
Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, Texas. Makes sense. You see those?
California, the big ones, the big, huge windmills.
Yeah, California.
You ever
solar.
watch one of those spin around? Those things,
gargantuan.
Man, if they hit you, it'd knock you silly.
Animal trainer in Oregon. That's one of the fastest growing jobs.
I've been watching.
Purchasing manager in Montana. I don't know what you're purchasing. That sounds like a generic term.
Why do you need to know what you're purchasing?
Exhibit designer in Idaho.
I can design exhibits.
Electronic equipment assembler in Nevada.
Ron's good at that.
Aircraft assembler in Alabama.
I want to put together an airplane.
Tool programmer metal and plastic in Mississippi.
Who hasn't done
Mississippi has just found plastics.
And metal.
Software developer in South Dakota. Derrick operator in North Dakota. And you have not lived until you've gotten a job operating Derrick.
I'd like to develop her software.
That's right. Home health aide in Pennsylvania. Older state, retirees.
Oh, you need some help.
Costume attendant in Georgia.
I'd like to attend her costume.
Dietetic technician?
That is the old word.
That's in Tennessee.
That's like when you go to the dietetic section at the supermarket.
Statistician. Boy, that sounds fun. In Illinois and Wisconsin and Kentucky.
Hey, Brad, the costume one might be in Georgia helping with the Walking Dead costumes.
I could do that. Cool. I could do that.
Information security analyst in Virginia.
Boy, that sounds exciting, but it probably pays well.
Prosthodontist.
Have you never had your prosthodontist?
Indiana and West Virginia.
Oh, especially in Indiana.
Gambling industry in New York.
New York?
Oh, yeah, they got all the Indian casinos there now. I'm guessing that's what it is. Still machine operator and tender. That would be in Delaware and also Vermont.
Tender?
I hardly even know her. Cargo and freight agent in New Hampshire.
I'm New Hampshire.
Biomedical engineer in the state of Maine. Aerospace engineer in Connecticut. Solar panel installer in New Jersey.
They don't have sun in New Jersey.
Desk clerk in Maryland. That's one of the fastest jobs.
What I really want to do when I grow up.
Actually, West Virginia, I was wrong. Nuclear machine technician.
I want to be a desk clerk, Daddy.
Well, Maryland has all the opportunities for you.
Pack the car. We're all moving to Maryland.
Desk clerk in Maryland. That's a dredge operator in South Carolina.
That's what we do here every day.
Farm worker in Alaska.
You know, the crops that you see in Alaska.
And also Hawaii is solar panel operator.
Snow.
Biomedical engineer in Louisiana as well. I think I got them all.
I can do that.
Oh, rail car repairer in Arkansas.
Called a hobo?
Huh. Oklahoma has derrick operator as well.
They should have turbines there.
And Kansas is oil gas mining service. I think I got all of them. Oh, Ohio, political scientist.
Whoa, that sounds like fun.
Well, that's
in where,
huge.
Ohio?
Yeah. Some of the fastest growing jobs.
Maryland must be so proud, though.
You know what else is growing really fast? TRAguns.com.
Is it?
Check out TRAguns.com. They have revolutionized online firearm purchases, and you will be so happy you did. What's their new slogan, Brad Staggs?
Their new slogan is America's virtual gun store where it's easier than ever. Hang on, there's more words here. Tar River Arms, America's virtual gun store, the most convenient place in the world to shop for firearms.
Apparently, they have a woman that's consulting them now with their slogan. They need to clean that up. All right, let's just wrap it up. TRAguns.com.
What do you mean it's last call?
All righty. Alrighty, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, the end of your Daily Mojo. But before we go, as always, let's find out what we learned today. We learned there is a way out of natalism.
What's that?
It's called a really post-term abortion.
27 years on.
We learned to paraphrase Matthew 7:3, shut the F up.
Yeah.
And you ain't all that. We learned the conversion rate of seal poop to dollars is $20, same as downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley J. Staggs, what, if anything, did you learn today?
I learned that sister wives are not frustrated lesbians.
Sure.
They're not. I also learned the State of the Union will have more drama and dirty looks than an episode of 90210. I was going to say Dallas or Falcon Crest, and I realized no one would know.
You younged it up by saying 90210. Well, that was wise.
We'll have more drama than an episode of Buffy the Vampire. No.
Maybe just we move on.
I think that's a good idea. I also learned that having sex with a cockroach isn't as hard as you think.
Hey-o.
Just ask Izzo. And I learned the ice diet is almost as easy as losing weight with the AIDS diet plan. That's AIDS diet plan. Look it up.
You're really making a lot of old references here.
Yeah, well, you brought it up.
What, if anything, not today, what, if anything, did the listeners learn?
Melissa Jackhole over in the MeWe chat room. I love the original. I used to watch the Thanksgiving marathons. I have no idea what she's talking about, but that's generally the case when I step into the chat room.
What did you reference that they always put on Thanksgiving?
Exactly. Kitty Tate Mojo 50 learned hunger strikes are like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Or as I like to call it, marriage. Madam Sue Jackhole learned Brad looks like he's actually drooling, rubbing his chin. I was not drooling.
You were staring at her breasticles.
I was not.
You were ogling. You were ogling. You were full-fledged ogling.
I was admiring.
That's called ogling. Well, your scale is very off.
I got nothing here. I got nothing.
All right.
Going over to the Twitterverse, Mojo Jedi learned Crystal joins the show and is immediately treated like Chef Patrick.
What does that mean?
I don't have any idea.
I know what that means.
Smirking Duck learned totally flubbed reading my tweet with a mouth stuffed full of donut holes. Thanks, Brad and Doc.
That's Brad, Doc. That's just Brad.
No, Hey, who's driving?
Who read the tweet? Who had the mouth full of holes?
You did.
No. I had the mouth full of cookies, not holes.
Crystal's fault. She brought the holes in.
It wasn't Crystal, it was me.
You didn't bring the donut holes in. She did.
Okay.
You didn't leave to bring them in.
I brought them in earlier today. You just saw them.
Oh, you did not. And finally, your Mojo is touching my jackhole. Brad can never call off sick because Doc Thompson will have no one to remind him of Ron's name.
Yes. Who?
Ron.
Him.
That.
Oh, guy behind the glass. The new guy.
He's not.
I'm sorry, the guy that is new again. He was with us a long time ago. I didn't get to the new numbers on procrastination, but that's on me, and I take full responsibility to it. I will get to it tomorrow, and we also have State of the Union recap. What does Matlock have coming up on his broadcast?
Oh, yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and where she is or
Folks,
isn't.
That cat was on about this.
Yeah, it's
all right. Remember, your Daily Mojo is today a service of, you just said it, Ron Phillips. Six separate Tyrannus. Good night, Steve Cannon. Wherever you are. Anyang, now, you go home.
I want some more holes.
Oh, it's written to me. That's nice.
She didn't sign it to me?
No.
This is the seditious Rabble